Welcome everybody back to the TIZZ Talk Podcast. I'm your host, Chucktizz, and I got my co-host sitting right next to me. Too woke to go broke. Too woke, what's up, man? How you doing sitting on the couch?
Shit, doing good, man. It's just a beautiful day here in Springfield.
Yeah, Springfield. We don't even know what state, man. Just Springfield.
Nope. Yeah, Springfield.
The fucking Simpsons, man. So TIZZ Gang, we're
which
switching
this is kind of appropriate because they predict everything, so I'm sure they have some Russian predictions.
I didn't even think about that. I bet you there's some Simpson shit about Russia.
Yeah, it is. While you do the intro, I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah, do that. That'd be great. All right, TIZZ Gang. I know it's been a hot minute since we've done a podcast, and last time we did it, it was with Daddy Stacks, and we started talking about EVs, and these EVs got me fly like Stevie. What was it? Tuo? You were like,
yeah, these EV. What was it? It was these EVs got me. My head bobbing like Stevie or something like that.
I go back to the last episode. Well, we're living in the Omniverse, and you just we'll have to go do that too. But thanks for tuning in, guys. Got some changes that have been going on, and kind of like a little rebrand over here. And I got Toowoketogobroke, and we're gonna switch shit up, man. And I don't know if everybody's been paying attention or hearing about the Ukraine and Russia situation, because it is Sunday, February 27th. So that means it's been 3 months since we've done a podcast. It's the longest gap I think I've ever had. But it's all good. I've been doing the live streams, but that doesn't help the audio listeners. Hey, sorry guys, we're coming back. It's gonna be better than ever, I promise. We've been busy, right? I mean, busy with work, and I've been busy getting my ass kicked in the market really bad. Like, I feel like this is the worst my performance has been in the market. And I think it's a combination of shit. I don't know. I had to think about that this week, and I was like, fuck. But hey, it is what it is, man. It is what it is. It's I like to gamble. Anyways. So did you look for the Simpsons thing?
Yeah, so pretty much they have an episode where they basically, it's called the episode's titled Simpson Tide, and the Homer
Simpson Tide.
Yeah. And so Homer joins the US Navy and accidentally fires his captain into Russian waters. This is followed by a sequence where Russia reveals the Soviet Union never actually dissolved. As troops descend on the streets, the Berlin Wall is resurrected. Lenin is brought back to life from his glass coffin. Basically, after the clip, they asked Al Jean about it because it kind of went viral, apparently. And he was like, sadly, this is kind of more the norm than a prediction. Because when that episode came out, it was at the peak of U.S.-Russian relations. So it was like 1998. So that was kind of like the best that Russia and the U.S. have really been, you know what I mean? And then Putin came in, and they were just like, they just knew it was always going to go downhill basically at some point.
It's funny you say that. So I just went to YouTube, and it's like, let me just type in Simpson Tide. First thing pops up. So it's not the full episode. It's like 3 minutes. So
not just that clip. Yeah.
I don't know what clip it is, but since we're sitting on Homer's couch, I think we owe him a little credit here. Can you see my screen?
Yeah. Hell, if Putin has his way, we might all have three-eyed fish swimming in our waters.
The Soviet Union. Here we go.
I thought you guys broke up. Yes, that's what we wanted you to think.
How Simpsons predicted the war of Russia and Ukraine. Did The Simpsons accurately predict Russia's invasion of Ukraine? The Simpsons is one of the most successful television shows in history. They've amassed millions of dollars and accomplished feats that other shows could only dream of. Video games, books, board games, theme parks, you name it, and The Simpsons have done it. This, of course, correlates with their 33-year tenure. It is presently the longest-running scripted primetime television show in the United States, having aired for 10 seasons. The Simpsons has been on television longer than the majority of us have been alive, and there is no reason to suppose it will ever end. With 33 seasons and 717 episodes, they've tackled a diverse range of stories, being the crazy animated satire comedy that they are. They've mentioned a few things that are almost unbelievable. Whether it's Homer ordering a mob shoot, staging an adult film in his home, or completely ruining Springfield with garbage, The Simpsons are constantly engaging in wild and outlandish activities.
770
Usually,
episodes.
these things remain confined to their frenzied animated fantasyland and never materialize in real life. However, there have been cases where the insane things they do on television have manifested in real life. This is why most of us now believe that what The Simpsons think today, the world thinks tomorrow. And recently, The Simpsons, the renowned American sitcom, has resurfaced in the news following an odd resemblance between one of its older episodes and the ongoing confrontation between Russia and Ukraine, which has escalated into a war. The show appears to have foreseen the present Ukraine-Russia conflict way back in 1998. Did they actually predict the ongoing Russian-Ukrainian conflict? Or is it just a made-up
1998.
story by the
Who
fans?
says that?
Hey, welcome back to Closure. In this video, we're going to talk about if The Simpsons really predicted the ongoing Russian-Ukrainian conflict. Before getting onto the video,
Foam dome.
kindly like this
Dude, that is
video,
an awesome
subscribe
hat.
to our channel, and hit the
Foam dome.
notification bell
Yeah.
icon so that you do not miss our upcoming videos. So, without any further delay, let's get started. Here is everything you need to know about it. The rapidly deteriorating tensions between the US and Russia, not to mention Russia's invasion of Ukraine, have sparked widespread speculation about a new Cold War. That is an exaggeration, but ties between the United States and Russia are at their lowest point
Is it an
since the collapse
exaggeration?
of the Berlin Wall, and Russian foreign policy is at its
This
most
was made
assertive.
3 days ago, so
Even
a lot
Russia's
of shit
talks
has
did not
Oh, yeah,
escalated
okay.
since
being so
then.
terrible so
That's
rapidly.
for sure.
However, someone did, the Simpsons writing crew, in 1998. When Boris Yeltsin was president
1999.
and relations were cordial, an old episode, Simpson
like a
Tide,
robot.
foretold the Soviet Union's return and a new Cold War. The show begins with Homer Simpson enlisting in the Navy, ending up aboard a submarine that gets into a shooting match with a Russian submarine and wandering into Russian waters in what is interpreted as a defection attempt. That brings us to this clip, in which Russia's ambassador to the United Nations discloses that the Soviet Union's collapse was a sham. This footage from the famous series is being extensively shared on social media
Oh,
since
shit.
it depicts the West's efforts to avert an all-out war. The episode depicts Homer Simpson's enlistment in the Navy and his involvement in a shootout with a Russian submarine. The clip is also amusing because it resurrects Lenin, who bursts free from his glass coffin and declares, "Must crush capitalism." The footage has been extensively shared on Twitter, with many pointing
just
out
play
that
it,
the present
lady.
situation in Ukraine was
Sounds
perfectly
like it's a
predicted by
robot.
The Simpsons.
Uh,
And it appears to be true since
1998.
this isn't the first time
1998.
that The Simpsons have predicted the future. From Astroworld Stampede to Kamala Harris swearing into the U.S.
Is that it?
office as the vice
That was
president
it?
to the U.S.
She's
Oh,
gonna
they
go
didn't
over
even
other
show the
examples.
clip.
Oh god, I was gonna be like, maybe we should have the show enter like with just this starting. I'm like, no, that was not good. That was kind of okay. Anyway, sorry about that, Tizzy. I mean, that didn't answer.
No worries.
They didn't answer any questions at all. It's just like, hey, the Simpsons did it again, and it was like,
I
mhm.
saw like what they on the other one. It kind of showed like a little storyline of it, and it's just a very fast clip. Basically, the USSR comes back to life. You know.
I mean, I'll tell you this. Mixed, totally mixed. Everything I've been hearing is just mixed, everything. But I've shared those videos with you. I mean, the news says a lot of stuff, and then you got, like you got Meet Kevin, who's doesn't lean one way or the other. That guy just legitimately just kind of calls it how it like what's going on.
Yeah.
But then he interviewed that dude Ross Gerber, which I gotta say, man, I really do respect that guy a lot. But like I like we were talking about earlier, I don't know if everything he's saying is factual. But he seems pretty smart. But man, that interview where he's like, we are literally one button push away from destroying Russia, like forever, like because he was talking about like the nuclear bombs, like in the in their little, they scrambled, and I bet you we do have our bombers in the air. I wouldn't be
Oh
surprised.
yeah, dude. Well, we have a shit ton of bombers. I can't remember. It's not the B-52. It's the whatever the new ones are.
The stealth, the black
Um,
stealth, or whatever that
That
thing is
one
called.
and the big ones. But I think they're like the B. I don't even know. But anyways, they oh yeah, that we have a shit ton of big stuff in Poland right now, which is, basically our biggest buffer is Poland, I mean, that's where it all started back in the day. So
That's the thing, though, is the biggest thing is with Ukraine, it's like this territory. It's like there's all the alliance. NATO is like on one side of it, and so you got this like middle ground. They're not a part of
Yeah.
NATO. So, and I get it. Like,
You've got, yeah, definitely. I mean, any country right now, that is not in NATO, that is bordering Russia, is
Belarus,
not
Poland's at
feeling good.
risk too, though, in a sense. I mean, I think we stepped in there, or at least.
Well,
NATO
Poland's
did.
one of the. I mean, that was like basically the beginning of NATO. I mean, that was the whole
Yeah.
point. So Poland doesn't really have to worry, in my opinion. Belarus doesn't have to worry because they're homies with Russia. Like, they still got.
They let
still
a
got,
bunch of fucking Russian troops come through their borders and enter Ukraine on their side. So it's
and then their meeting is going to take place in Belarus, which I was like, man, I don't know if that's a smart idea.
Is that middle ground? Is that you're saying that's because it's middle ground?
Yeah, but
no.
I mean, Belarus still has RUS in the fucking name. You know what I mean? So, so Belarus.
Well, they were all part of the Soviet Union or Russia at one point, and now they're. So you hear like, Putin's
but Moldova,
shit.
Georgia, Belarus, those are the guys that are probably, like I said, Belarus, I think they're homies anyways. There's actually pretty major air defense, Russian air defense in Belarus. So they're basically just a lackey of Russia, like they're not.
Yeah.
But
Ukraine,
Georgia,
I mean, for the longest time when I was a kid, I thought you'd hear Ukraine. I always thought it was part of Russia, and I knew it used to be, but until recently, like, I just do my homework on all this shit. And what I found out is Russia and Ukraine have been doing this for hundreds of years.
Yeah.
Hundreds of fucking years, man. So this is not new to them. This is not new to them.
So, I mean, if you look at Russia, I mean, they already took over Crimea a while ago, back in 2000 and I can't remember, I think it
was at 2014.
2014,
2015. It was like 7-8 years ago.
So they took.
It wasn't that long ago. It wasn't that long ago, guys. It really wasn't.
Yeah, and then they took parts of Ukraine. They had Donbass and that shit, and then now, if they take over Ukraine, I mean, Moldova is just right there. And then Georgia is south. Tiny little country, and then Kazakhstan you've got to the east. So. They probably want all that potassium from Kazakhstan, number one exporter of potassium. Remember in Borat?
Oh, I forget. No, I don't remember that at all.
He makes remember the national anthem in Borat. He's like,
the new Borat or the old one?
The old. It's been like a recurring joke in all of the. Yeah, he's like. It's like Kazakhstan, number one.
Oh, yeah, dude. I forgot about that one. Kazakhstan's right there too.
Yeah, so, and they're actually kind of balling. Like, Kazakhstan's really turned a corner. Like, they're in a growth period. Georgia's poor. Ukraine's very poor. Hell, Russia's very poor, man. Just guess what the average Russian lives on annually.
After everything I've heard this week and research, I don't know, but I'm gonna say it ain't much because I know that they get fucked. They steal, they take all their money and then they go spin it on. But I mean, it's insane. So I don't know. I don't know. Just
take a wild guess though.
So what am I guessing again? Exactly.
How much the average Russian, what is the average annual income of a Russian
in US dollars or in
US dollars?
Rubles.
In US dollars.
10,000 a year.
$5,000.
$5,000. I mean, I had a feeling it was gonna be low,
and it's really a little lower than that because, like you just said, all those oligarchs have billions, so it kind of offsets the average Russian. It's really closer to 4. If you take away the billionaires, the average Russian's living on about $4,200 a year.
That's insane. I mean, and Russia's like what the next country, at least that has, any country that has like nuclear capabilities. Typically, they're not well off like the United States, but they're not like a third world country, and that's third world shit right there.
Oh, that is. I mean, 100%. I mean,
Ah.
Russia is a failed state. It's just it's stayed together just by the true grit of Russians. I mean, they've always been like that, just misery and they're kind of ant-like. In my opinion, Russia and China are like very just like ants. Like you got the dudes at the top and then everybody else just falls in line. You know what I mean? Like
It's
and
so nuts to think about that. Actually,
it is, and
crazy.
Russia is crazy, and Putin is, the thing about Putin is people are like, people don't understand.
I've always respected Putin. Like I always did from a standing away, and like I'm like, man, that guy's been through shit. He doesn't.
Oh, his life story is
fuck
crazy.
around. He does not fuck around,
dude. His life story is crazy.
He's always real quiet, and he's always got this game plan, but it's scary if you think about it. Like, who knows what he's capable of?
No, I agree with you. Like, I mean, I agree. I always had the same thought about him. Was like, don't get me wrong. I was never like, oh, I like Putin.
Yeah, I'm not like sitting there like apparently you see what the media is doing with Trump. They're like, oh, he's praising Putin. It's like, oh, shut the fuck up. He's not praising him. I get, and I don't.
Yeah, I get what he's saying. Like, you know what I mean? Like, but
I mean, Trump does it sometimes. He'll say a little too much.
Yeah. And actually, I thought the same thing when Russia, before they invaded and they just said those two areas were independent. I was like, okay, that's smart because he's basically grabbing land that he already holds through his separatist, rebels. And so that's where I thought it was going to stop. I really did think that was it. And I really did not think he was going to invade Ukraine. And then
it makes you think, doesn't it? Like, what is really going on?
Well, what is plan? I think his plan is to try to reunify some of these countries back to Russia. But the problem is I know he's a planner. I know he's very intelligent. I know he's sly as a fox. Like he's not one to be trifled with. But I do wonder if he really understood how hard it was going to be to take a city like Kiev or any of these other cities that are, it's very hard to take over a city. It's one thing to bomb the shit out of it.
Take over a city. It's a country.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, country. I'm just talking Kiev right now. It's like, it is hard to take over a city. I mean, we had a hell of a time taking over Baghdad. You know what I mean?
They can't like, take over Kiev. And I think that's a giant city, man. I mean, what are they going to do? Go in there and kill like 20 million people, and while the world just stands by and watches it? No way. No way. We're not going to be cool with that.
Well, we have to.
It's the only way. So his tactic supposedly is to. This is from all the shit I've been watching and reading, and just diving into it and not letting the media like drive my opinion.
Yeah, I hear you.
And supposedly it's like, look, man, like he's like coming in, but they're not getting extremely aggressive. Like
he really hasn't. He has
and
not.
So but they've been throwing missiles at military bases, anything that it's going to weaken that line. And if you think about it, it's like, okay, they're going to weaken that line with the ultimate goal of eventually invading and trying to take Zelensky, the president of Ukraine, out of office. And slip in a Russian puppet, put a Russian puppet in there. But it's like Putin. Like, bro, like, I'm sorry, this is not like the 1990s anymore, man. Like social media is everywhere. Like people are not that stupid anymore. So it's like, you can't just like go in there and slip in a puppet anymore. It's not, those days are over. Everybody's got a phone. Not to steal a line from like Kevin and Ross Gerber, but like the phone is more powerful than the gun right now.
Yeah.
Everything,
to a point.
To an extent. I get what, yes, obviously.
It just matters, does he care, and how much, here's my question is, how solidified is he in Russia? Like, can he go years fucking over his country without losing his seat?
He's been doing it, but now it's all on the main stage.
Yeah, but he's been there for the biggest growth Russia's seen, like granted, they're still poor as fuck, and he's pocketed a lot of that money, him and his buddies, but Russia had 0 billionaires when Vladimir Putin took over. Now it has probably dozens. So,
Well, they're stealing all that money from their people.
of course, but I'm
Where
just
else are they
saying.
getting it from?
Yeah. No, I know. But, St. Petersburg, one of the most expensive cities in the
Yeah.
entire world. Like, there is some wealth there that did not exist, at all. And
It's from the old James Bond movies. Like, I remember those, like when he's in fucking St. Petersburg eating caviar and shit.
Dude. And St. Petersburg,
The Baltic Sea.
Dude, during World War II, bro, like it was so bad there. Like people were eating each other. Like there was cannibalism going on. Like they were eating shoes, dude. Like they would boil leather. Like it was fucked up, man. Like
they would boil. I guess you get nutrition from that.
Barely, but I mean, when you have nothing, I mean, they had nothing. They had nothing. Like it was bad, man. And that's how Russian though. They just kept fighting the good fight, and it's like that's Russia, dude. And there's actually a book called City of Thieves that I highly City of Thieves, highly recommend. It's one of my favorite quick reads. It's such a good book. It's about a young guy. I'm not going to give too much away, but it's about a young guy who's like in the military.
David Bainoff, is that the author?
Yes.
Yeah,
dude, it's such a good book. And it's not like a super insightful book, but it's true to form. And it paints a picture of St. Petersburg during World War II. And then it also paints a picture of just the insanity of Russia and like how they use personnel and like how when they put their mind to something though, like it just has to be done. It doesn't matter the death toll. It doesn't matter. Like they don't give a fuck about people.
So you've read this book. Like,
oh, it's a fantastic book. It's funny. It's quick. It's got two great characters. The two main characters are just characters that you just really like. It's a great book, man. You got to read it. It's fast. It's
TIZZ Gang. I'll go ahead and throw a link at the end of the show. I'll put the link in there because I haven't pulled up right now. I got the.
But if you want to see how tough Russians are and how hard-headed, and just read that book. And like I said, it's not like super in depth, but it just gives you a taste, and it's funny, and it's a great read, man. It's a.
How'd you come across this book?
Larry actually told me about it.
Larry, that makes sense.
And dude, I read it in one day. I mean, it was just so good. Like in a few, I mean, I don't know how many hours, but four hours, maybe, you're done.
How old is this book?
It's pretty old.
I guess this like paperback old, version I'm looking at says 2009.
90s, 2000. Okay.
It's 2009. I didn't know if that was the year it was written or if
I thought I read it before that, but maybe not. I don't remember, but it's a good book, man.
Okay.
I actually have 2 copies. I'll send you one.
I can pull it like electronically right here. Like,
here's how good the book is.
258 pages. 258 pages.
Here's how good
it was published March 31st, 2009. That's what it said.
Okay. So here's how good the book was. I had read like we were going out of town and I read the first, like, I don't know, 3-4 chapters. And then I forgot it when we were going to travel. And I went to the bookstore in the airport and I bought another copy because I was like, I got to finish this. Like, it was just good. It had me hooked. Like, it's a good, quick, fun read, man.
That was back before the days when the Kindles or whatever existed. You could just like re-download it.
I just love a paperback. I can't do
I've never written a book electronically.
Yeah, I never will.
I can read shit online all day. Yeah. But like with a book, first of all, these screens,
paper, man. Yeah.
These screens, they hit your eyes all day long. Yeah. And it's like the white background. Like I turn everything dark now. Yeah. Just stare at screens too long. You're like, I'm just turn everything to the dark mode now at this point. Cause like it just hurts your eyes so much. So don't do that. Don't do what I do. Do not stare at computer screens all day long. It's bad.
Yeah, but shout out Larry Sellers, shout out City of Thieves, read the shit. It's a great book. It's a great fun book. And I also have Stalin. I also have like the definitive biography of Stalin I just started because like Russia's fascinating, man. And that's gonna be a long read, but it's gonna be worthwhile, I'm sure. But
the whole situation is fascinating, and obviously everything that's going on, it's kind of striked my interest even more. So I've looked into this stuff. Like I've spent more time in the past 5 days, like literally digging into stuff that I would never look at before. And it's crazy some of the shit that you hear.
I'm a little surprised that Putin went into Ukraine. If his goal is to take over more than one country, I'm a little surprised.
He's showing all his cards.
I'm surprised he took Ukraine before he took Georgia, because Georgia would have been a walk in the park. I don't even know if they have enough ARs to arm, you know.
I feel like he took Belarus before anything at this point, right? I mean, they're not
Well,
taking.
they're like you said, kind of a puppet state. They
Yeah.
have air defense for Russia sitting there. They're like that buffer, and they're happy to play the role. But Ukraine is not.
Do they have a choice?
Um,
You know what I mean?
I think most of their citizenry is pro-Russian, whether it's through propaganda or not. I do think most of your Belarusians are pro-Russian.
Right.
Whereas in Ukraine, I'm sure there is a small percentage, probably, maybe 30% or so, but the majority did not want to be Russian and do not consider themselves Russision. They say they speak Ukrainian. I have a feeling their languages are probably extremely similar, but whatever. They want to call it something else, call it something else. But and maybe I'm just ignorant. It is a lot different, but
so Ukrainians. Yeah, that's a good question. Actually, maybe
they say they speak Ukrainian, not Russian, and I'm sure I think it's one of those things where some words are different and stuff. But like I said, could be completely wrong on that. Let me look it up before I'm spewing ignorance.
Yeah,
here.
you're good. I was just curious. I'm like, so what language do they all? I mean, do they all have their own fucking language? I mean, because they all were part of the Soviet Union at one point. So that's like
exactly.
If if Texas ever separated from the United States, like we create our own language. Like, no, like come on. But I don't know.
Oh wow! So they actually do have they actually have a different alphabet. So I apologize to Ukrainians out there. They don't. I guess they don't speak. They have a shared common history of language, obviously, but they differ in terms of vocabulary, pronunciation, and so on. So quite a lot of differences. Maybe it'd be like the difference between Spanish and like Portuguese, which is
that's a good
maybe.
example. That's a good way to put it. There you go.
Yes. So, if you speak one, you can understand the other, but it doesn't necessarily mean you can like write it.
Like Spanish and Italian too, in a sense. Like you can, I can understand because I can understand Spanish for the most part. But like when I went to Italy, like I never spoke Italian, but at the same time, they're so similar. I was able to pick up on certain things. You know what I mean? Anyways.
Yeah. Here's the thing about Ukraine that is different from a lot of other places too, is, they can continue to get supplied from Europe and from, everybody who's more pro-Western is, they're not going to starve. I mean, the Black Sea is right there, and they're going to be delivering food to Ukraine.
That's another reason that I think Russia's very intrigued or Ukraine is because, well, first of all, there's a lot of historic land. There's a lot of historic land, like a lot of amazing, beautiful historic, like natural resources, oil. Think about it. And so so Russia's like, fuck this. Like, like this is our fucking land. I get that. And I respect it. I do respect that if that is the case. Who knows? I mean, Putin is a maniac, but at the same time, I get that. But I got to say something too. And I feel, and I've been really good about this lately. And and last night I get a text, or not a text, but like an Instagram message from my buddy, Igor, my boy he lives in Australia, but I met him on my trip to Israel back in 10 years ago. That trip I took to Israel, and he lives in Australia. He's Australian, but his family, he literally comes from Russia. He's a Russian Jew. And I don't want to say my dumb ass, but I took a tweet from Ross Gerber and I screenshotted it and I threw it on my Instagram story, which I haven't posted anything on Instagram in like months, I feel like. And it said, here, I'll go ahead and just read this to y'all. So verbatim, so I don't fuck it up. Give me a second. So, but I feel a little bad. It made me think twice. I didn't take it down, but I did go back and I was like, okay, did I jump the gun on posting that? Like, because when my homie hit me up, he's from Russia. He's, I'll tell you exactly what it said, then I'll dive in this a little bit more, but it made me think twice about, this is why I don't get on Instagram anymore. I'd make one post politically and I got some shit for it. And I didn't even say anything, but I let his tweet do it, but it said, man, this guy posts a lot of tweets, bro. Like a lot. It's insane. Like this is yesterday. Today's the 27th. Yeah. This is all like within the past 24 hours. So he said he just tweets a lot of stuff, man. What this guy is on another level too. Like I could share my screen. I'm gonna share it because this is crazy. This is crazy. He's very adamant about it, but he's also Ukraine. I gotta give it, he's from Ukraine, he's a Jew from Ukraine, and he fucking hates Putin. He hates him. Because I mean, so I'm looking at both sides of the fence here. Now I decided, okay, I'm going to take this quote. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Well, let's just start with this one. So this is on the 25th, which was Friday. He goes, no question in LA right now. If y'all can see this. Russian oligarchs own many massive, very expensive homes. It's time for the real estate industry to come clean, stop hiding these oligarchs' money right under our noses. We need the US government to step up and seize their assets. Now, give you some context behind that. This guy, I didn't know about the oligarch stuff. Did you?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, see, I didn't. And the way he painted the picture, that video I sent you, I don't know if you watched the whole thing, but I was like, holy shit. Like, I mean, because he was so intense about it,
Oh yeah, I mean, they own property in London, they own everywhere.
Billions of dollars in assets in London. And he's like,
because none of them want to keep it in Russia.
Them right now. He's like, we should be seizing these motherfuckers' assets right now. He's like, you really want to fuck with Putin? He's like, you go take those motherfuckers' assets and they can't party anymore and they got to go back and live in cold, shitty Russia. He's going to have a problem on his hands getting decisions made, or they might just kill him unless Putin kills them first. Now, that's coming from Ross Gerber. Here's another one. This is from him. What I'm hearing is the Russian military relied on quick victory and quick fall of the Ukrainian government, attacking on three sides, spread their forces. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so attacking on three sides instead of just coming one way. Say they sent all their forces to Kiev, then they wouldn't have been spread out. You know what I mean? Which, to be fair, taking Ukraine would have been huge. I mean, Kiev.
You see how passionate this guy is about this shit. I mean, this is all he's posting about. No.
One thing I think people are jumping the gun a bit. I think Putin, to be honest, just from the videos I've seen so far, he's sending in like the D team. Why he's doing it this way, I don't know. But it seems to me like he's kind of just,
because if they get killed off, then he's got his A team behind him.
and he can say, look at all these soldiers that got killed by these Ukrainians, and then he can get his people behind it a little bit more. I think he sent in, from what I saw, like 3% of the troops that are sitting there on the borders.
He's a strategist,
right now.
Man. I'm saying, I've looked into him. He's smart.
Everyone who's celebrating a little early, like this is what I expected from taking a city. I didn't expect that if you go in, you're just going to take it overnight. Like, no, that's not how it works, man. I mean, the U.S. military, which puts Russia's military to shame, our military budget is like as big as Russia's whole GDP. You know what I mean? So like we couldn't even take Baghdad. Like it took a long fucking time to turn that tide.
And that didn't end well. Or no, that was Afghanistan. Sorry.
Well, still, I mean, it's just it's not easy. It's not easy. And these people have a lot more resources than the dudes in Iraq did, you know. And by the way, pro Second Amendment, thank you. All you pussies out there that want to ban guns, look at Ukraine right now. These people were sitting on weapons. They're defending themselves. You think all those guns just came from the military overnight? No. These people were already armed and already knew how to use them. Pro Second Amendment.
I mean, they've been dealing with this shit.
And to all you people out there that are like, I've heard this so much from these pussies. You think you can defend against the government with an M16? Yeah, look at it. What are they going to do? Nuke their own city? Like, no. Guns
that's the other thing. I'm glad you brought that up. But wait, before we talk about that, I just want to read.
That's all.
Read
the
tweet. The tweet that I reposted and put it on my Instagram story, and I had hashtag fuck Putin, because I was like, but that was it. That's all I said. But I so he goes,
which
so
sounds very reasonable to me.
Right. And Ross goes, we are watching the demise of Russia, Putin's Russia. We are watching the demise of Putin's Russia, period. This is a great moment where the West can end the dictatorship in Russia and give the Russian people another chance of freedom. It's time to destroy Putin and the oligarchs. # Ukraine. I read that and I was like, you know what? Yeah, fuck Putin, bro.
Yeah, and actually it's pro-Russian.
I posted it is right. Like I didn't just go there and say fuck
it's
Russia.
Anti-Putin, but it's
I didn't say fuck
pro-Russian.
Russia.
Yeah.
I said fuck Putin. But
yeah,
my homie did. I mean, when he sent me that message, I was like, I thought he's like, you know, he's like, you need to keep digging, man. He's like, you haven't done. I go, bro. I hear everything you're saying, and I go, no hate. Like I respect that. I was like, but at the same time, I was like, you know that he's a fucking murderer, killer, and you know that. I don't need to fucking tell you that. Like he is, and it's almost basically been proven at this point.
Yeah.
So I don't feel horrible about putting that out there, but it made me think about it. I was like, the one Instagram I put up in fucking months.
What did he say? But
I think he was just very upset about the whole entire situation, and like he saw me post that, and so I could tell. I just didn't want to get into it. I neutralized it as best as I could.
Hey, you know what? If he wants to come on the show and tell us Russia's side, I'd love to hear it.
I have to talk to him first.
I'd love to hear it though, because I don't know. You know what I mean?
He's in Australia. It's got to be like fucking the middle of the afternoon there. So.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to hear a Russian's perspective that's pro, because a lot of Russians are not pro Putin, but some are, and I'd love to hear that side of the story. And I won't argue with him. I just like to hear him out.
I would too.
Yeah.
I just needed to give him some space, I guess, because he seems pretty heated. But it made me think though. It's like,
well, that would be a great bridge, you know, to say, hey, man, you know what? You're right. You know, I
want to get.
I don't know as much about it as I'd like to know. Tell me. I'd like to hear.
I want to get him on the show. I'd love to have him on. I've been wanting to have him on the show for a long time. Anyway, we haven't been able.
I'll set up some I'll write 21 questions for him. Seriously,
21 questions.
Not pressing him. Just I want to know one question leads to the next. And
he's a super smart guy, man. He's super chill. Like he's very understanding. And so when he hit me with that, I was kind of like, oh man, you got a point. You know, I was like,
but I mean, when your president makes himself president till what 2034, and then he starts going into other countries, I mean, you got to question that. Even if you love your country and you like Putin, you still got to question that shit. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. And that's what I was saying. I was like, you know, he is a fucking murderer, right?
Yeah,
like,
which is fine. I don't even hate the guy. I don't care that he's a murderer. Like, I expect that.
I mean, we're murderers too, the Americans.
Yeah, exactly. Like, let's not be, you know what this has showed me is just what makes me kind of sick about this whole thing is, and I love America. You know, I respect our military. Like, I'm not bitching. A lot of what we've done over the years that's bad makes our life better today. I hate to say that, but there's a reason that we live so well here in America and don't live on $5,000 a year. And it's on the backs of a lot of people that didn't deserve to die that are dead, you know? And so, you know, but, and don't get me, a lot of people in America protested the war in Iraq, but I mean, where was the world outrage when something happens in Europe is just so different from when shit's going on where there's
brown people. That?
Part of it's
because of World War II and just all the shit that went down.
Part of it is World War II. Part of it is we're just so Eurocentric, and then part of it is Muslim. You know, part of it is just that's the Islamic side of things. Like people just, you know, the Crusades are still ongoing, basically. You know, if it's Christians killing Muslims, people just seem to accept it as it's just part of the world. Whereas once Europeans start killing Europeans, it becomes like, oh my God, World War III, you know what I mean? And it's like,
well, that's how it starts. It's so quick. I mean, their countries are so close to each other. It's like, you know, we have states and think about that. These are all different countries.
Exactly.
And they're in the same distance vicinity, you know.
But any Islamic people, any Middle Easterners, any colored people out there that are from other countries, don't feel like that's lost on all Americans. Like most of us understand that it's fucked up. It's not, you know, it should matter no matter where bombs are being dropped. Civilians should matter everywhere, in my opinion. People are people, and most people across the world, I don't care if they're atheists, Jews, Christians, Muslim, they all want the same thing. They want their families safe. They want to be able to make a living, and they want to be able to live with dignity. And then beyond that, people would love to be able to elect their leaders and all these things, but that's not a choice everywhere, and that's not the fault of citizens.
No,
Governments
it never
take
is.
governments take so many liberties with the power that we instill them, including America, even especially America. We go do all this shit that none of us vote for, and we just, I mean, I don't know what you do about it, but we become complacent. And I just feel bad for Ukrainians and Russians. I mean,
There's a lot of Russians that are definitely suffering from this shit too.
Oh yeah, and a lot of
they've
Russians
been,
are
maybe
probably,
they've been suffering. Who knows? But like,
They have
not
been.
everybody in Russia supports Putin or this idea.
Yeah,
You know
no,
what I
not at
mean?
all. And I'm sure there's some of them fucking crying their eyes out right now, because
Yeah, because who
there's
knows
some-
what really is going on over there? Like,
Yeah,
we
no.
only see so much on the news and the cameras. Like, who
Exactly.
knows what the
But
fuck
just
is
the way
happening?
I've seen these tanks rolling in all sloppy and these people getting captured and not even firing, like, I'm pretty sure he sent in like the lowest level of his military at this point. Now it looks like he's starting to set up these rockets on these perimeters, and it could get really, really nasty in the next 2 days if they don't come to an agreement tomorrow, or over the next 2 days, which I hate to say I highly doubt is going to happen. But
You know what? It's like every time the market closes and it's daytime or nighttime here, it's like, something's going on over there. Something happens after, in these breaks and these weekends. And it's it's crazy. I mean, the whole Swift thing, which
shut
I
a few
learned.
banks down, shut a couple banks down today.
The US and and Europe, they decided to suppose it was like a partial exercise of the nuclear weapon option.
What would be kind of funny if Putin saw? Putin should be seriously thinking about this. I'm not trying to give.
He had to
Putin
have
ideas.
calculated all this before.
No, but
he did it.
check this idea out. Putin. Now, granted, right now would not be the time to do it, but if it looks like things are going to get really bad for Putin, where they're going to shut down all the banking, he should just cut the oil supply off. Who gives a shit about a week or two of oil when you're going to get shut these European nations down a week or two early, and all hell will break loose? I mean, can you imagine what would happen in the markets if half of Europe was in blackouts? Like, and that's what would happen.
I mean,
You don't cut 40 to 60% of the oil supply and things just keep running. Like, no, shit will come to a grinding halt. And Germany, by the way, fuck Germany. You stupid
Germany's
idiot.
fucked.
You're so
too.
stupid.
By the
too.
way, they're also they have the way they think and the way they do things is not cool.
Germany, you are stupid. And you're a big reason why the EU, all of Europe, you got to look in the mirror. You don't just start doing business with a guy like this and rely on him so heavily to the point where he invades your neighbors, and you feel like you can't even do anything because you can't even sanction him properly because you need him. You need him.
Yeah, he uses, just like we do, oil.
Yeah,
as a leverage. I mean, they do supply,
but
most
they
of
let
Europe
him
with
in.
it.
They let him in.
They got comfortable with him, and they knew he was a fucking crazy man.
Dude, Germany had independence of energy. They had all these nuclear power plants, and then these green idiots who don't understand anything were like,
why
shut
are we
down.
not focusing on across the world on nuclear? That pisses me off.
Well, here's my thoughts on nuclear, though, that's scary, okay, which I had never thought about until this shit broke out. Is imagine this: if most countries in the world have nuclear power plants, what happens when war breaks out? I mean, these are huge targets that can cause a nuclear power plant can cause devastation globally.
There's a nuclear power plant 3 miles from my river house. It's South Texas nuclear plant. You can see the towers at night. So if that thing goes, there goes everything within 25, 50 miles, at least evaporated. And then you have the fallout that comes with it afterwards.
But I just never thought about the fact that, nuclear power plants during a war are kind of fucked
up. It's a weapon.
You know what I mean?
It's a weapon.
It's a weapon, and but it also affects the whole globe, right? Like, I mean, when Chernobyl blew, fools were worried about radiation for thousands of miles.
Supposedly, there was a report this morning that I saw that because you know that Russia went in and took
Yeah.
over the old Chernobyl plant.
Yeah.
Supposedly the radiation levels have shifted to
Oh,
a
really?
more, I don't know how accurate it is, but I
Yeah.
saw something about that. I was like, wow.
Well, a lot of
They
people don't
did go
realize
in
this,
there.
which I didn't realize this till about a week ago, is they still have a power plant running in Chernobyl, nuclear.
Oh, do they? It's still running?
Yeah, it's a running
What's
power
it?
plant.
What are they doing with it? What? There's nothing over there anymore. It's been 30
Well, the
something
power is
years.
probably where Kiev gets. I bet you a lot of power comes from there.
So
It's not that far.
They went and
Chernobyl's-
rebuilt
yeah.
it. It's 20 miles from Kiev. It's 20
Apparently, it never really shut down, bro. I was shocked. I was like, "What the
miles.
fuck?"
20
Like, are you
miles from
kidding
Kiev.
me?
It's not far. It's 20 miles.
No, it's not.
20 miles.
Yeah, so that's probably where a lot of power comes from. But it's
Wow.
insane, dude. Like, yeah, just to think
That's
about these weird things
crazy.
that you don't normally
But
think
nuclear is
about.
so clean compared to what we use. It's such a
Until
clean
bombs start
energy.
dropping.
You're right. And I guess we live in a fucking crazy world where you have to fucking consider that every time you do anything.
But anyway, the point was Germany had nuclear power plants. Germany's not worried about getting blown up anytime soon by anybody. You know what I mean? So it's like, why the fuck? You know, just because they want to be. And here's the hypocrisy of the green movement is, you know, Germany would probably claim that they cut down on a bunch of carbon emissions by getting rid of their own power plants. But it's like, dude, the oil still comes from Russia. You're not any greener because you buy the oil from another guy.
Another country.
Yeah, it's
or
like that's
another
not green. Like just
Like
'cause you
going
can-
to a different gas station. You don't like
Yeah.
Diamond Shamrock or fucking Shell, you get a
outrageous.
fucking Chevron, you know?
yeah, it's outrageous the double think when it comes to this green shit. And don't get me wrong, I'm like all for reducing pollution and all that kind of shit, but like you got to be smart about it and not just be like a liar, because you're lying to yourself if you think, hey, we quit producing oil and, you know, just say they cut the oil off in Texas and then we import it from fucking Venezuela. Well, what the fuck did that do for anybody? Nothing. And matter of fact, the way that they're gonna get it is gonna be dirtier than the way we get it. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, yeah, especially like if you use it for that example with Venezuela.
but that's kind of what we're dealing with here. Dictator, asshole.
yeah, no, but they don't give a
fucks
shit
over
about
his-
the environment. They got
Yeah.
way better, more things, important things to worry about than that right now. You know, all right,
Yeah.
yeah, they're looking at more of a short term.
But all these guys need to look in the mirror. Who do you do business with? Who do you do business with? You know, and if the answer is Vladimir Putin, you kind of fucked up, man. You kind of fucked up.
Yeah, and definitely don't want to be in a situation with that guy. You know, like they don't care. Here's
I
real
hope
quick.
that,
Go
yeah,
ahead.
yeah. Oh, I was just
Well,
gonna
I
last
was
thing.
Go.
I hope that this wakes everybody up that can produce their own energy to do so, including America. We had energy independence. We kind of took a little step back. We need to go back to just being 100% reliant upon ourselves for all of our energy needs. Did you know that there was a tanker on the way from Russia when this shit broke out, full of like 6 million barrels of oil headed for America? That means we were going to buy some of their shit a week
We do
ago.
buy their shit. We
Well, I
do
know,
buy their shit.
But I'm just saying, why is America, who has plenty of oil, taking oil from other motherfuckers? It makes no sense. It makes zero.
I agree. And oil's always been a huge problem with everything. It's caused wars. I think for the past at least 100 years, if not longer, most of these wars, oil's tied into it.
Yeah,
One way, shape, or form. One way, shape, or
Yes.
form, oil's tied into it.
Mhm.
It's tied
It's-
into it.
Yeah, exactly, man.
It makes the world go round currently, and it's fucking crazy, but it is what it is. The real quick to finish up with, if y'all don't know what the whole Swift situation is, so it was a thing. It was like a playbook that was put together after World War II with the whole nuclear bombs and when nuclear technology became accessible by us and Russia or whoever, and basically if you break that, then these Swift bank things come into play and cutting off, and basically it's cutting off Russian banks from the other, like from the United States, Canada, whoever is involved with it, from the main international payment gateway is what it says in the article. Swift. That's what Swift is. The assets of Russians, central banks, are also expected to be frozen, constraining Moscow's ability to access its overseas reserves. Now, I feel like Putin priced all this in before he did this. He knew this is what was going to happen. So it's like, you got to think like, what's he got up his sleeve? I don't know.
Well, what he did was, since 2000 and like about 13, he started liquidating all of Russia's cash reserves. He's only holding on to about 15% of the ruble right now. And in the whole Russian central bank, he's got about 13% of holdings are cash. He liquidated all that, bought gold, bought euros, he's got dollars. He basically has everybody else's currency, so you can't crash it. Who cares? He doesn't give a shit about the ruble right now. And then gold always is, going to be stable. So he's been planning this for at least 7 years. Least 7 years.
I feel like this has been in the making for a long time. But again, it goes back to these Russia and Ukraine. This has been going on for hundreds of years. It's been going on for a long time, and we're now like getting into it. And it's like, they've been doing this. And to talk about currency real quick, the whole cryptocurrency shit that's going on where Russia's, being able to take basically, so ECB urges haste on crypto regulations in wake of Russian sanctions. So ECB is what? That's I think Bloomberg's like, every time I pull an article, it's like, you need to pay for this. Russian Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies could be part of future sanctions. This came out today. It says Washington is considering a novel area for possible further sanctions against Russia. Cryptocurrencies targeting the country's access to cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin and Ethereum would take sanctions policy into uncharted territories. Blocking transactions would be challenging since by nature, private digital currencies are designed to exist without borders and for the most part outside the government regulated financial system. So it's like, I get what they're saying. I don't know. I don't know how up to the speed with Russia is with all that shit. I'm sure they're up to speed. I mean, you got the Russian hackers and all the shit you hear about. So it's a currency safe haven, I guess, outside of this whole SWIFT thing where they can have money still transferred, because it's all started because they were going to transfer crypto to fucking Ukrainians to be able to purchase weapons and all that kind of shit. And now they're talking about, well, that just bit us in the ass because now Russia's going to, I don't fucking know. There are so many moving parts to this. It's one thing, you have a financial crisis, had a lot of moving parts to it, but like usually it's like there's one driving factor. There is so much shit going on right now. I can't keep up with this.
Look, I mean, just to go back to your homie that's like, look into it more, like one thing that's interesting is one thing that America always gets on top of. I mean, just one thing you don't do is sell oil for anything but the US dollar. You better take dollars for your oil. And Putin, so back in 2013, 95%, of its exports to, anywhere, Brazil, India, China, didn't matter where it was going.
Oil related.
He received dollars.
Oh, okay. US dollars. Yeah.
In 2013. That was just
that's 8 years ago.
And that's what I said. Ago. And that's when he shifted. He got away from that and has been ever since. He's been getting away from that. So over the last decade, he receives only 10% of his trade in greenbacks. He's been taking gold predominantly for most of what he's been exporting for the last 8 years.
Who's paying in gold?
Anybody that can, I guess.
That's crazy to think about. It's
so
like,
these governments take shipment and he pays in gold, I guess.
Can't track it. I mean, can you? I mean, I guess it's very hard to track.
Even so, he just doesn't care if it's dollars, right? He'll take euros, he'll take dollars, but then he's going to take that money and he's going to go buy gold instantly with it. So he doesn't give it, it doesn't last in his system. He's getting rid of it and getting gold.
I guess because the dollars got more value, so he's taking it and then transferring it to gold and stashing it.
So I can guarantee you, yes. So what's your and so he doesn't have to rely on his dollar, and if he makes a move, you can try to crash his currency.
No wonder he doesn't give a fuck about the ruble.
He doesn't give a shit about the ruble.
No,
and one thing I was going to say in your buddy's one thing I was going to say, I can already foresee what your buddy's going to say. And I'm not saying it's not 100% true, but what he's going to say is America doesn't like that we're not doing business that the Russians aren't doing business in dollars. And so they've been playing a game of encroachment to try to egg them on to encourage him to do something drastic in order for us to then, in a roundabout way, try to eliminate the problem, if you will. So we can't
bring up a good point. You do. You bring
and
up
not to put my tinfoil hat on, but that's, that is going to be their story, and that's how they're going to spin it. Now, whether that's true or not, that's we'll save that for another day. But, I can guarantee you that we absolutely do not like that he's been doing that. And, hopefully China doesn't get involved in that type of behavior, or else then we really are looking at a big problem.
Yeah, and I'll read exactly what he said. So I posted what I told you guys, and then he goes, "This isn't the truth, bro. Do some more digging. The U.S. has been infiltrating Ukraine to get to Russia. It's a massive mindfuck. Putin is retaliating." And I was just like, look, I'm all ears, man. I was like, I've been doing some digging, and I know that he's a killer. So I maybe I jumped the gun a little bit, but I don't know. This is why I fucking hate social media. I posted one thing, and I didn't even really I didn't say the words. I just reposted something, right?
But it's not even a reason. You got to think about it positively. Like, now you may be able to have a conversation with a guy that you would have never had.
Yeah, you're right. No, you're right. You're right. And I can hopefully get his ass on the show.
If you butt heads with people and then you get in a fight and you don't talk further, then it's a waste. But if you actually
and he lives on the other side of the world too. So
if we can actually have a conversation, that was a positive moment. Like, it may have started off with a little bit of a, hey, what the fuck are you talking about?
It didn't hurt. Like, it made me think. I was like, yeah, he's got a point.
Yeah. And, he may spit nothing but Russian propaganda, and maybe most fools in the West are going to spit nothing.
I know the guy, and he's not like Trumpish, I guess. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, he's very open-minded kind of dude. And so for him to say that, it really like bothered me.
Yeah. And there is some truth to this. I mean, we should not have been trying to put, we have Ukraine in this pseudo NATO, like, hey, it's like what Ukraine's kind of like, this is a good example. It's like a hot chick. She's a freshman in college, and two different sororities that hate each other want her, and they're just gonna, they don't give a fuck about her, but they just want to win, and it's like,
get it in.
They're going to get catty, they're going to get bitchy, and they're going to try to use each other. They're going to try to use her to piss each other off. And that's what we're poking the hornet's nest. And we know who Vladimir Putin is, and we know what's going to happen if you keep doing it. So America, their hands are not clean in this. But there's a big difference between getting pissed off and invading a country. I mean, there's a big difference. And Putin, if Putin could have really started a smear campaign here in the States, they say the Russian trolls helped get Trump elected. He could have just been telling us what's going on. Hey, America, you guys are fucking with me. I might do something crazy. You better tell your politicians, write your politicians a letter. Tell them to quit fucking with Ukraine, or I'm going to do something crazy.
And so the thing about Russia now, and I don't know what's Putin's mind. I have no clue, but it's like, I feel like they've always been trying to get back to that Soviet Union status.
Definitely.
The glory of, it's like Trump, make America great again. Let's make Russia great again, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's make the Soviet Union great again. And Putin and Trump, they kind of remind me of each other a little bit there, if you think about it.
Yeah, completely different personalities, but very similar. You can get to the same place, a lot of different ways. Nationalist, generally speaking, xenophobic, dictatorial, believe that they're right, and by any
the
means necessary.
the best stock market we've ever had in our lives. So yeah, it's like the greatest stock market ever, like the greatest economy. Fucking Trump.
To me, Putin is like a serious, no lying. Like he's not like, to me, I mean, I'm not saying he's not a liar, but he tells it with a straight face, and he's not like full of too much hyperbole. Like he just tells you what he's saying, whereas Trump doesn't do that at all. Like he's just full of shit.
You heard Trump was like, he wasn't praising Putin, but he was definitely
he was just like, oh, that was
hyping him up a
genius
little bit, and like everybody's like, so Trump's like on Putin's side.
And then a lot of Republicans were like, no. But there was a few that were like, yeah, Putin's the man.
I was sitting over here like, actually, Putin's smart. I said that. Remember, I was married. I was like, Putin knows what he's doing, man. Like,
Putin's smart, and he's got a plan, and we don't really quite know all what it entails, but
we don't. I feel like the American government knows what the fuck is going on. Everybody's talking about what's on the news.
Yeah, I will say this.
Know what the fuck is going on behind the scenes? I mean,
you know what else this uncovered was all of our mistrust of the media, because they were telling us
for so long. Like,
dude, they told us
for the media. Fuck the
media.
They
told us for 3 weeks straight.
You see that crooked middle finger?
Yeah. They were like, dude, what was our media saying for 3 weeks? Russia's going to attack. Russia's going to attack. I did not believe it at all, because I don't, you just don't take it at face value. You just think they're being
the media's gonna hype up anything.
Yeah, and I really thought
it's a good story. They make money off of this.
I thought they were full of shit. I really.
How many people do you think have been watching the news all weekend long? The news is the only thing that they've had on their fucking TV because of this shit.
And in times like this, it's hard not to watch.
Everybody was watching Como on TV come out in New York. It's like, why are we watching fucking Governor Como right now? Like, why is Como on the motherfucking TV nationally? It is 2 years ago. It's like, why is Como on TV?
It was ridiculous.
Addressing the nation nationally. Now look at Como. Yeah. Now look at him.
Look at both of them.
Well, Chris Como, he lost his job at CNN too, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. They're both little perverts. Yeah. It's like,
I mean, again, I don't know what people like the whole Harvey Weinstein.
I know.
They run in those things like fucking shit. One guy gets caught, and it's like they all come out to woodworks and jump on the next guy. And it's a train of
Governor Como is a weirdo. He has 4 nipple rings. 4 nipple rings.
Well, I didn't know that. What?
You didn't know that?
No.
Oh, no. Dude, pull this up. Screen share.
Oh, no.
Screen share.
What the fuck? Okay,
type in government Como nipple rings. You type that in, and you're gonna have a nice little surprise. Maybe not so nice. Click that shit. You tell me. Somebody try to argue.
Let me find the most legitimate source.
Look at that one. Look at that picture.
Here's New York. Wait, these are all 2020.
Look at that. Just look at the images up top. You had the best one. Look at that right at his chest.
This is a joke. What?
No,
I have not heard this ever.
Look at that.
This is hard. This is hard to tell.
No. There's better pictures. There's better pictures.
Hold on.
You skip by the look at that one right there. Just his chest and his hands.
This one. Yes.
You tell me what's going on there.
I don't know.
What? What else would be on your nipples?
You're right. I see the bars. Like I see the barb. Like
there's no doubt about it, bro. No doubt. I was watching that press conference.
I just don't feel like the internet is a place to rely.
Go up a little bit. Go up a little bit.
To what?
Go down just a hair. There's one where he's like walking that was pretty good. Okay.
This one?
Sure. Look at that. It's 2 barbells.
No, I know. I see it.
I was watching the press conference, bro. Me and Brett, I was like, I talked to Larry and I was like, bro,
look at this.
He's got nipple rings.
What the fuck? Like, this is the first I'm like hearing of this. Unless I heard it, don't remember. Maybe I heard about it and didn't think twice about it back then, because back in 2020.
And he's wearing them at a press conference in a white tee, dude. It's like, what are you doing, dude?
Please tell me Fred's brother, the governor of New York, doesn't have nipples. Doesn't have his nipples pierced. Nipplegate? Nipplegate.
Dude, he's got double barbells, bro. It's not even one,
Wow.
it's double.
Wow. Okay. Wow. Okay. So that was new for me.
Yeah.
I've never heard, or
So
I
then
never
when
paid it.
After I knew that, and then the shit came out, I was like, slam dunk. Of course he did it.
That's insane. That's insane.
I wouldn't be surprised if he has a tramp stamp too.
He probably does. He probably has a chance. I can see that. I can see
And
that.
it says Cuomo Bros.
Cool. Yeah. So what's up with Chris Como? What happened to him? He was like associated with the situation.
No,
when
he was.
fired him?
Yeah, well, he used his power to try to like hide some information for his brother, but then also some shit came out about him being inappropriate and lost his job.
It happens when you're on the news.
Yep.
Yeah, and they'll fire you real quick. Real
Yeah,
quick.
they definitely will. And he was the #1 show on CNN. So
What do you think about the whole Starlink thing with Elon and giving it?
I
to
think it's
Ukraine?
awesome.
I do too. I mean, I think it's great. Everybody's praising Elon right at this moment. Like it's insane.
Everybody except the SEC.
Well, yeah, that was funny as shit. It was like on Friday. It was like Thursday or Friday. I'm sitting there watching the market. And all of a sudden, I'm watching Trading Fraternity, and he's got the Bloomberg terminals. It's like before the news drops, he's like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa! Tesla's got big red candles, and I'm like, "What?" So I look, and sure enough, no joke, like it was going down, and it had something to do with like the SEC was going to probe them for fucking what? Not I don't know what it was, but guess what? That was a 5-minute live thing. It came back and actually closed higher after that.
Mhm. SEC, leave the man alone. He sold stock, bro. Like
he's
sold stock.
Elon. The thing about Elon is like he's not like look. I don't know him, but he doesn't seem like he's a malicious person. Like he's like only trying to do anything and everything that's great for our planet, in my opinion. Now I get it. Given he's a billionaire. He's one of the richest people in the world. So I don't know. He's probably got some tricks up his sleeve. He does have that. He's creating the fucking thing that you can put in your brain, whatever that thing's called, the chip that he
Neuralink. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that shit.
Neuralink. Yeah, man. I might use it. Fuck it. At this point, who cares? If it could like open up 10% more of my brain, fuck it. Be that much smarter. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
Till that shit gets hacked.
Turn into a zombie or some shit and like turn into the Terminator.
But Elon Musk is cool. Here's what I like about Elon. He doesn't care about like status quo. He doesn't care about being PC.
Yeah.
He doesn't care about, which is what a lot of people like about Trump, which is funny. I was just thinking I was saying that. But anyways, Elon Musk this is a G move. He's going to piss off one country, but he's doing what's right. And he's helping Ukraine keep their internet on during a wartime situation when information.
So Russia can't step in and turn that shit off.
And
that's a big threat to them. And he realized that. He's like, you know what? They can't turn this shit off.
And it's an opportunity. That's what's great about it. So it also makes his product
shows
better,
the world like,
cooler.
hey, check this out.
Yeah, and it's like, hey,
fuck
Mark Zuckerberg, use my shit. Like,
I think Zuckerberg might be out of the picture for good at this point. I don't know, man. Jesus, their fucking stock is like almost 50% from what it was not even that long ago.
And see, Zuckerberg's such a punk. He has an opportunity right now. He could be helping Ukraine do something. I don't care if he sends over a million.
That was a good marketing tactic, Zuckerberg. Meta.
Oh God, that was one of the stupidest moves. You got in on a noob. Fucking
his
concept.
Stock ticker is still FB, by the way. Like that's not changing.
Meta is going to go down as one of the stupidest ideas of this decade. The metaverse is a joke.
I think the metaverse has been a joke, and the fact that he changed his company name from Facebook to Meta,
it just shows what it
blew my mind when it happened. Now it's like all coming to fruition here. His stock has dropped almost 50% in like 2 months, or not even. Wiped off the map. That's
Zuckerberg.
Crazy.
Zuckerberg has a tiny penis. That's all. I don't know that for a fact, but he's got a tiny one. and
I
that's all
guess.
there is to it. I can tell by every movie makes. I'm like, what? That's just small dick energy every time. It's like, dude, what is going on, bro?
I don't know what's going on anymore. I really don't. The crazy thing is what this entire situation has done. All it's done is open China's eyes on going after Taiwan. That's what it's done.
That's what people keep saying. I'm not so sure.
I not that they haven't had their eyes on Taiwan. This has been going on for some time now, but now they're like, well, if Russia's going to take Ukraine, it's like, we've been, and China's fucking crazy too, bro. That's not Jinping.
I think people are jumping the gun on that. So as far as China goes, there is no Taiwan. China does not recognize Taiwan.
They don't recognize that it's Taiwan.
China says it's like a two-state.
This is our country. This is our land.
One thing that was funny about Donald Trump was what that I liked. I thought it was kind of funny.
He hates China. He can't stand China.
Well,
China to him, China is the reason why he's not in office.
So when he got elected, the Kung Flu. When
China.
When fucking he got elected, he was the first president since like way long ago to actually take a call from the Taiwanese president, which was
I didn't know
woman.
that.
No, we always had a two-state policy, and we wouldn't talk to Taiwan really in those type of diplomatic channels. We do a lot of business with Taiwan.
Yeah, we get so many exports from there.
But he was the first one to take a call from the Taiwanese president, congratulating him for becoming president, which I thought was kind of cool. I don't even know if he knew the significance of it. He's probably just anybody that would call Trump and say,
why did that happen?
Congrats.
What's the deal with that?
Well, they just called him and he took the call, whereas most other presidents wouldn't have taken the call because it just wasn't what was done.
So he's like the least amount of a puppet comparatively to these other fucking assholes.
Well, somewhat, but also I think some of it's just flattery, and Trump is very susceptible to flattery.
Yeah,
Apparently, he like still has the letter like framed from Kim Jong-un, like a letter from
He would. That would happen.
Yeah, he would.
Dude.
And so some of it's just like he just can't handle it. Like if a world leader's like, "Oh, hey Trump," like he just, "Oh yeah, like I'm somebody," you know what I mean? Like, so it's not all in.
Trump's a character, man.
He is, and that's what I don't like about like, both sides are just so crazy right now. But it's like people on the left at least admit that Trump is funny. Like he's one of the wiliest old people, and I'm not a Trump fan, guys. I'm not a Trump fan.
Neither of us are.
But he's entertaining. He has a lot of things that are like funny,
more entertaining than Biden.
Likable, like he has a
Biden
lot of likable
the most
qualities.
boring motherfucker ever on the TV. It's
Biden just is waiting for the next diaper change. I mean, that's really what it is.
When's Kalama gonna come in and take over?
I will say he's handled this a little better than I thought. I think they're giving him a little extra Adderall or meth or something just to keep him on track, because he's had a little more energy and he's got a little more gusto. They're giving him something,
I agree with everything you just said about Biden. I mean, there was what really, like, I was like, what the fuck, is when that lady was like in the press conference on Thursday of last week, she's like, so Putin came out and said that if anybody interferes, you will see the biggest retaliation in the history of mankind that you've never seen before. And she's like, does that mean that he's got nuclear weapons? He's like, well, I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
Oh, and we're all like, and the market was like, at this point was like on a
and then it went up,
and then it went, and then they're like right back up, like it was like flat for a second.
After that news conference, and it wasn't necessarily because of Biden, but it was just there was nothing good in it, and then the market started going up, and I was like, what the fuck is going on? Like basically, he just said, I have no idea what's going to happen. Putin is capable of anything. And it was just like, oh, the market went up. It's like, okay.
There was no substance to it, period. It didn't change anybody's feelings about anything. The uncertainty was still there, and that's the problem with the market. The market doesn't like uncertainty. It'll take bad news and run with it, and that's fine. But the uncertainty is when you start to see these 5% drops in one day, and then a 5% run the next. That's
I think the big dogs had priced in a 0.5% in interest rate increase, and now that this is going on, there may not even be one. You know what I mean?
Because why would they fucking raise interest rates if we're going to go into war, right? But who's saying we're going into war? Everybody on the TV. But is that really the case?
No, we're not going into war. Until he touches.
Then they should raise interest rates. If we go to war, I get it. And I'm not saying the Fed should raise interest rates, but honestly, they kind of have to. Like, we're going to go into crazy inflation or stagflation or whatever, hyperinflation. I don't know which one. One of the three.
Nobody
they got to maintain this. They have to maintain. Well,
you know what's fucked up about it?
You can't live off what's fucked up though? Interest rates. It's not going to work.
You know what's fucked up though? Well, interest rates don't directly bring inflation down. What interest rates do is they slow down the economy, which then in turn brings inflation down. So it's like it's a two-step process.
It's a gamble.
Well, and it's on the backs of middle class. That's all it is.
Middle class always gets fucked every time.
Always.
They get fucked every time. And I guess I am middle class and I've been getting fucked. So I feel it.
All right, we'll continue to get
That's also my decisions that I've made too at the same time though. Like I'm degenerate option trader. So yes, that happens.
But I do believe that that this battle's gonna continue. If Putin made a deal with Ukraine in the next coming days, I think that this would be one of the absolute worst. This would go down as one of the absolute worst. What's the word I'm looking for? Tactical decisions of all time. I mean, if he just makes a deal that they don't join NATO, that ain't going to get it done, guys. And if it does, then Putin, I mean, he lost his marbles if that's what he does. I mean, it just doesn't even make sense. You know what I mean? Like you can't go back now, in my opinion. You take the country by any means necessary. I mean, I don't want that to happen. I'm just in his shoes with the move he made. You have to take Ukraine or else.
You have to. I mean, I get it. And you're not getting like the news is never gonna hype this. They're always gonna stick on, especially the American media, right? Like they're going to always bash on Putin or that situation and always be in the favor of the United States, which is, of course, I get it. But at the same time, it's like, well, you can't be that fucking stupid, people. You can't. If you just do a little bit of research, you'll realize that this has been going on for hundreds of years. This is nothing new to them. We are just now like, did any of you motherfuckers even know what Ukraine was until like a week ago? I mean, I bet a lot of people did not.
No, they didn't.
And I didn't pay attention to it. I mean, I knew it. I didn't either. I'm sort of the victim in that case. But at the end of the day, people just sitting there watching this news. It brings you back to 2 years ago when the news is on constantly Corona this, Corona that.
Yeah.
And you're just buying everything that they're saying. And look what happened. Yeah. Slow the spread, 30 days. Slow the spread. We'll be back in 30 days. The party's going to continue.
Which should go down.
2 years later, now we're just exiting that position, sort of.
Yeah, which
media
should go down as the worst handled problem.
Horrible
in human history.
Numbers speak for itself. We got more deaths and cases and this shit, and you know what it is? It's because all the countries that like China. All these in Russia, these people didn't have the choice. We have the choice. And guess what happens when we can't agree on something? Guess what? We lost 1 million just in the United States due to COVID. 1 million people. 1 million people. I got COVID twice. This is insane. I mean, it blows my mind that what are we, a democracy, a republic? I don't even fucking know what we are anymore, but we have the right to have these choices. And when you have all these fucking idiots who are just so poorly educated and they listen to this garbage on TV, of course you're going to have this type of kickback, and we couldn't put any type of force in place. And yes, people died. A lot of people died from this.
I'm sorry, but I just think I hate to say it. A lot of people may not like this, but we shouldn't have really done a goddamn thing.
Nothing.
Testing.
Wow.
Things like that was fine. No, testing was, I'm saying that was like the few things we should have done. But
the vaccine shit, this vaccine shit's insane.
Shutting down was absolutely absurd.
Giving people $1,200. I guess nobody knew what to do. $1,200.
No, they did.
We got way more than $1,200. I got every stimulus check that you could get. There was $1,200. There was like $600. Then there was like another $1,400. It was like
worst thing.
That's where most of that money went to. Most of these checks went to the market. Why do you think it's been so propped up?
A lot of them did. Yeah.
Mine went to the market.
It was the worst way.
That's exactly right.
It was the worst way to handle the crisis.
Sweden
did it. Sweden did it better.
Throw money at it.
Sweden had the balls to say, "We're just gonna chill.
Just throw money at it.
Let it
fix
happen.
Everything. That'll fix everything."
Yeah, and see, and people. I'm sorry, but people, you got fooled. Like shutting down, slow the spread. We didn't slow anything. All we did was prolong. We just prolonged it. Saved a few lives, sure.
The numbers aren't lying. Legitimately, we have been absolutely ass raped from this shit. Like we have way more problems than any other country. And when this all started, we're good. We're good. No, we got fucked. We got fucked real bad. And people are like, this isn't real and all this. Yeah, whatever. I got it. Okay. It's real. People, it's fucking real. Okay. It's a real fucking thing. It's not that big of a deal anymore, though. And I've been saying that shit because I got it. I'm not vaccinated. I'm not going to go get it at this point. It's over. So accordingly, supposedly.
Well, you had it twice. You've got the antibiotics and shit.
Yeah.
But here's the one policy I really agreed with Trump on was you can't shut down the fucking economy over this shit. Like you're not doing anything. It's not going to do any. He didn't say that, but
I think now you look back and we learned I think this is a history lesson for everybody. You do not do that again. I don't think that will ever happen again. Now that that's happened, if this ever happened again, the rule books are in place. Like that's not ever going to happen.
And see,
I just don't think they knew how to handle it. And it's not just Trump. I mean, this is the American government here that we're talking about.
Yeah.
It wasn't just Trump who made the decision. I mean, I understand. It's like, what do you do? Like, you got to stop this thing, this fucking coronavirus. How do you do it when everything has gone absolutely to shit? You got to stop people from being around each other. But in America, that's impossible.
Here's the problem.
It's fucking impossible.
Imagine this. Remember in the beginning, they were like acting like 10% of people were dying that were getting this shit. Remember that in the very beginning?
Yeah.
It was like,
and we
like 1 in
10 too.
Like damn, 1 in 10, like motherfucker, like that shit is scary. You know what I mean?
It
1
is.
in 10, that's some scary shit.
It's a scary thing though, because it is real. These coronaviruses, and if you
no, it's real. But
here, why don't you say what you were gonna say before I totally fucked that up?
So here's the problem: say some other disease starts spreading around the globe,
and it's coming. This is going to happen, guys.
And they tell us 10% of people are dying. Is anybody going to believe that shit?
That's the problem when you overuse and abuse your media outlets to do exactly what happened. You start to lose the trust of people. And when that happens, then you're really fucked.
Yeah, because if something came out right now that would actually kill 5 to 10% of people like they acted like Corona did, nobody, it's going to take people months to catch on and actually give a shit because they're going to be like, fuck, no, we're not.
Yeah, we already dealt with that for 2 years.
And they were telling us that. They were telling us that. They literally were like, you get this shit and you are going to die. It's like.
And they forgot to leave out, well, you'll die if you have underlying symptoms and you're over 70 and this, that, and the other.
Remember those videos in China? Like fools were just dying keeling over in the streets.
The media is always going to point the camera at the worst thing they can.
And what was
the most viewing? I don't know, man. Because China, back in March of 2020, they stopped reporting numbers. Right?
Yeah.
This is where it started, supposedly, right?
Fucking nose itching. Yeah.
You're talking about the most populous country in the world. And they had like what, 2,000 deaths. All of a sudden their numbers just stopped.
Yeah.
Because they can do that. They don't have the type of government we have where you have to, you have the left and the right.
Yeah.
It's like China
Well,
don't
I
want to
think-
report it. They
yeah.
don't have to report it. They don't have
And
to.
if anything, I think our numbers are higher than they were.
Oh, they're super skewed. Whatever numbers you're looking at, why don't you just go ahead and add 25% on top?
Anybody who died, basically,
25% on top easily.
anybody who died that they didn't know what corona, you know what I
The
mean? It was
hospitals
like,
were getting paid off of this shit. They were
Look,
just to call a death from COVID. They were making money. So
if you're
a lot of these
90 years
numbers are
old,
fucked.
say give me here's a hypothetical. Okay, you're 90 years old. Okay, you're 90 and you get the flu and you died. Did you die of the flu? No, you're
you died from
motherfucking
COVID.
90.
You died
You're
from COVID.
90. You died. I don't care what
Yeah,
virus.
We
you
should be
died.
living that long anyway.
If you got the flu, you would have died. You got
Yeah.
corona, you would have died. You got a fucking cold, you would have died.
Think about the and I said this 2 years ago. I was like, before we really knew what was going on, I was like, it's like, this is just another fucking version of the flu. I was like, it's not, they're like, it's not the flu. It's not, and it isn't. It's not influenza.
It's a cold.
I get it.
It's a cold
It is,
virus.
but it's the same shit. Again, I just got it on Christmas. I was sick as fuck. TIZZ Gang. I haven't done a podcast. I was sick as shit. I literally, again, I have no problem saying this. I am not vaccinated. I haven't, and I'm not anti-vax. I'm not. I've hit my flu shots. I just didn't get it because I don't want to be the first motherfucker to do that. And after so much time went by, it became such a political issue that I just didn't want to be a part of it. And then I got sick. But guess what? I got sick. And I got sick on Christmas Day. And it lasted 24 hours. And I was fine. It was like the flu. I literally took the test and it came out positive for COVID. And I don't even know. I feel like all these tests, no matter when you take them, it's going to say positive, no matter what at this point. Like, so I was like, this is fucked up because it was gone the next day. And I'm not vaxxed. And I know people that got it on Christmas. This is the Omicron variant, which is like the least out of all the variants or whatever these variants. I know people that were in the hospital who are vaccinated to the fullest extent for over a week. And so that to me, I was like, fuck this.
Bro,
and now
I wish I
supposedly
had
COVID's
never-
over. And I'm like, well, now I'm not going to get it. I'm not even going to think about it again because I was about to do it because I was like travel and all this shit. Fuck this.
Bro,
Fuck it.
I wish I had never got it. And I'll tell you why. It's two reasons. I've had the weird little feeling like right in here ever since.
Yeah, man.
And then the first time I've gotten sick since I got that fucking shot, just a sinus
The
infection.
ear thing,
Nothing.
right? Yeah.
I had a fucking ear problem for a month and a half. I mean, obviously inflammation is like blocked this tube that goes from your ear to your throat, and it made my ear like a
You
vacuum,
honestly
and it-
really think that this has to do with that though? Like I'm
dude, I've
seriously
never had
asking you.
any
Yeah.
health problems in my life, besides when I was like a little kid or something maybe, but I've gotten sick my whole life. Get over it. No problem. I've got fuck that shot. It was
No, I mean you got a good point. I mean, and you said that the other day when I was on the phone with you. I was like, God damn it, that makes sense. Yeah, I'm not gonna. Now I'm really not gonna get it. Like
my
you know
old
what I
man
mean?
got it. My old man got it and almost had like he felt like he's gonna have a heart attack. Like he actually went to the fucking hospital, like his chest pain.
Hey, wait. Let me just put a disclaimer out there. TIZZ Gang, like we are not hitting on the medical. We're just stating our opinions. Like we're not. I don't want to
Look, at this point, you either got it or you didn't. So I'll say whatever the fuck I want to say.
No, you can. Oh, that's fine. Hey, you're good.
Don't if you're a healthy young person at this point, I would probably avoid it.
You know what? You're right. Fuck the American institutions and these fucking vaccines. Let it be fucking known because I'm not vaccinated and I'm going to say that now. And I'm not going to get it at this point. And you got it. And I remember you were like, fuck this. And then you got it because your mom.
I didn't want to get it. The only reason I got it,
like
okay,
a year
and-
ago or something.
and this
like
is
that,
how
right?
bad. This is how bad people were brainwashed. My own mother, who's very intelligent, she knows more about
I know
policies
your mom.
and shit.
I know your mom. She's the shit.
She's very well read. She's usually
She
pretty-
loves Master P. Bro. She loves
Yeah,
us.
she does.
Like
But
crack like
she,
this.
we were going to visit Colorado, and she was like, "You have to get vaxxed to come to Colorado." And I was like, "Okay, fine." So I finally broke down and I got the fucking shot.
I
This was,
remember. We did
this
a
was like
podcast. We were on a podcast.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm not getting, and then I was like, you're like, I caved. I was like, it's all good, like
kept bitching at me, kept
This
bitching
is-
at me, and
yeah.
then I finally got it. And dude, I'm telling you, I just would not advise young people that are healthy at this point. Like I said, when it was full swing and shit, but at this point, man, fuck that shit, dude.
I mean, I don't know if it's the herd immunity. I don't know what it is. But, after time, like go back to the 1918 Spanish flu. I mean, 2 years after the fact, and like it came and then it got worse and then it came back down. They didn't have vaccines back then. And they didn't have any medical advances like we have now. And they were fine.
Yep.
They were fine.
Yep.
Look, it's part of life. I mean,
Yep.
I was sick as fuck. If that would have continued for a week, it would have been absolutely horrible. Like I was sick, but it was intense, but it was like this. Whew, that's cool.
Yeah.
But if it's like this, like gradually, that's dangerous. That could kill, especially underlying health symptoms. So, but I'm a healthy guy, 35. I mean, I've never, dude, I shouldn't say, I'm not going to say it. I was going to say something. I was going to say, I don't even pay for health insurance these days because like, what the fuck am I paying for? What am I paying for health insurance? I don't take prescriptions. I don't have anything. So I'm going to pay $300 a month for what?
Most people, you'd be better, especially if you're like 18. I'm not telling you not to get health insurance. Anybody out
No,
there.
I don't get health insurance, people. I had health insurance forever. I just recently canceled it.
But what I was going to say
is, sorry, go ahead.
What I was going to say is, if you don't have health insurance, make yourself an account, put $200 a month in it, and watch that shit grow. And then if you ever have a health problem, you'll have some money on deck. And if you don't, you may end up growing a nice retirement account.
Here's the deal with health insurance.
Either have money or have insurance, but you can't go with, you can't have,
you gotta have something, because here's the deal with
one or the other.
Here's the deal with health insurance. And I understand this, but our medical system's so fucked. It's been fucked. Like why do you have to pay like hundreds, tens of thousands of dollars a year to have good health care? That's so fucked. And for the longest time, we were trained as Americans to, you gotta have health insurance, you gotta have insurance on this, you gotta do this. And look, I'm 35, guys, and this whole pandemic thing has opened my eyes to so many things where I'm like, fuck health insurance, fuck car insurance, fuck car insurance. You cannot get on the road though without it. Now, I don't drive anymore. I have a truck. I have a truck in the middle of Houston, Texas. Okay. You cannot fucking use public transportation in this city. Guess what? I decided to move inside the city. I can walk to my office. It's like being in New York. I cut my goddamn car insurance off because I don't fucking drive anymore. I'm not going to pay it. I don't drive. And you know what? This is not good, but I do drive sometimes. And I'm taking a risk when I do that. Because if somebody hits me, I'm fucked.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when I do drive, I do choose, I do whatever I can to have someone else drive, or I'm going to drive on the side streets or whatever. I am not condoning that. Don't follow my actions, but I'm just so anti-government that at this point that I'm like, well, fuck paying all these bills that have just been draining my bank account for years.
Yeah. And
for what? I've never used any of these services. I've never used my health insurance. I don't have, so I'm like, fuck that. And then the goddamn car insurance and shit. Like, I've had some accidents, and yes, I get that. That I could have kept. But at the end of the day, it's like, I don't need to drive. I don't go anywhere besides to my job, man. Like everything I do is off of a computer these days.
Yeah.
Literally in my own condo, I can make more money and be more successful, and I never have to walk out my door with technology the way it is. Guys, think about this for a second. I do commercial real estate, and I deal with some of the most insane CEOs and stuff, but guess what? I don't have to fucking leave my fucking house. I could put a fucking shirt on, do a Zoom meeting in some pajamas, and literally share my screen and just educate. That's all you got to do. COVID exposed so much shit for us. The office market's totally fucked because of it. Nobody's going home, but no one's going back to the office. I don't give a fuck. I say this shit and they don't like when I say this. They don't. Guys, the people in the real estate community here in Houston do not want Taylor Chuck talking about the office market, because I'm always ruffling the feathers, because I'm like, nobody's going to go back. Why are they going to go back? Zoom killed that shit. Zoom killed it. Nobody's going back to the office.
No.
People are just as productive at home now. So these insane lease rates on the office market, nobody's going to go back and pay it. You're not going to see Shell Oil go back and rent a whole building in downtown Houston ever again. It's never going to happen. I don't care what anybody in the real estate market says. You are blind. You're blind if you think that these companies are fully going back to the office. Let me, maybe this is for another show, but that just ties right into the CMBS debt problem that we have.
Yeah.
Does MBS ring a bell to anybody? Mortgage-backed securities, 2008. Let me think about that. Put a C in front of that. CMBS, commercial mortgage-backed securities. You have a shitstorm on your hand, people. I'm gonna tell you right now, when they start to default because they can't pay their rent, they can't pay their bill, the landlords cannot pay their loans because they have no fucking tenants in their office buildings, and they start to default. Talk about a domino effect. Look at Evergrande in China. Look what the fuck happened there. That's like one piece of the puzzle. If they go down, everything goes down with it. It's so
which
bad.
we really don't even know what they did with Evergrande. Like, it kind of just
it's China. China doesn't have to share her. That's the thing. It's China. But here in the United States, in 2008, AIG almost went under. If AIG went, that is so real. If you really think, if AIG goes under, so does everything, because they insure everything.
Yeah, they should have to buy insurance.
And you would think after 2008 that they would have to buy insurance. Yeah, they did have someone on top of them, right? But they're going to do the same thing. It's all corrupt. But if you think about it, really, from a real standpoint, back in 2008, AIG should have been done. They should have been bailed out and closed the fuck down and regulated. Guess what? They still have one of the tallest buildings in Houston on Allen Parkway. It's not even in downtown. It's a fucking giant building, not in downtown. So why are they still doing it? Like, how are they still around? How are they still making their own decisions after that? This is all fucked, people. This is all fucked. And I'm telling you, and no one's going to tell any people about this. And look it up. Look up CMBS, TREPP reports. And you can literally look and see, for the most part, on some of these delinquencies and payments on these office assets and retail assets. Now, retail, I think, will have a strong comeback because it's more of a short-term down and up thing. But office, no one's going to go back, man. Why? With technology?
Yeah, retail is more cyclical. This was literally a shift.
It was truly a shift. These REITs are so exposed, and they know it, and they're doing everything. Why do you think they're piling into the industrial market right now as a hedge? They're piling into it as a hedge because they know. Yeah. They know it. And like, I'm like sitting here saying this shit. People are like, stop talking. You're scaring people. You're scared. Fuck you. Fuck all of y'all. I don't care. Like, I don't care anymore. Like, fuck all of y'all. Like, why are y'all going to hide a serious problem that could potentially take down our fucking economy? I'm not cool with that. Yeah. It's that serious. And I'm very passionate about it because I see this with my own eyes and I have the access to the data. Nobody's talking about this, Tuwo.
Yeah. Well, it's like what started this was government institutions, like you're talking about, like the FDA. Okay, they say the vaccine's safe, whatever. Yeah, you know what else? They let them put Red 40 in all of our food. They let them put all this shit in our. No other countries do that. Why are you going to trust them on this shit? You know what I mean? Like, and I feel like make them a pretty penny. I mean, I truly feel like a buffoon for taking that damn shot. I really do. Because I knew in my gut.
Don't beat yourself up too bad. At least you didn't get the second and third shots, you know?
My gut told me not to do it.
I remember when you told me, I was like, you got it?
And I did that. I did.
Because you were so anti.
Just because of family pressure, dude. And I can't, and I shouldn't have done it. but you know, I did it, and
Well, you know, it's done. You can't beat yourself up too much because what are you gonna do? Take it out?
I hate when I go against my gut, and then my gut told me not to do that, and I did
And
it
bro, when
anyway.
you did it, I was like, man, too woke did it. Like, man, maybe I gotta go do it.
I
you
was not
know?
being very
And
woke,
now,
dude.
and my stubbornness, in my opinion, like, you know, I stuck to it. I didn't move. I didn't budge.
I have no doubt that, and I'm not saying I will, but I have no doubt that there will be millions of people that have health problems in the future.
In like 10 years or something.
yeah,
Like,
oh,
like
5.
we were saying, like 10 years from now, you might be watching.
They'll hide it.
videos.
They'll hide it for a very long time.
They always do.
Yeah.
They
I've
never
read
come out.
some things. I've read some things that said heart
There's
attacks.
a lot of attention on this though. You
I've
know,
read
so
some
they-
things
they're
that
gonna
say
hold
heart
it.
attacks on younger folks are way higher than they've ever been. And what's the one fucking common denominator? Is the fucking shot.
And that's the crazy
And one of the
thing is-
main side effects was people having chest inflammation. It's the fucking shot.
and you don't
and if
even
this
know
shit
what's in
gets
it.
worse
Y'all
over
are
the
just
next-
lining up and getting this shot in your arm. Like they developed it so fast. That's what
You know what's
freaked me
funny?
out,
I
yeah.
almost, I literally, when I went to the fucking Target to get the fucking Pfizer shot, when I saw it, when the lady finally pulled it out and came over to me, I almost fucking told her, you know what? Never fucking mind. It's like, it was like radioactive green. And I was like,
What? Really?
"Mm," I was
It was
like,
green?
it was
The
fucking
shot
like,
was green,
it looked like they were
like some
putting
Simpsons shit.
Simpson shit. And I was just like,
Have they done an
"Mm,
episode on the vaccine?
I don't know, but I was just like, yeah. But anyways,
Well, no, but look, here's the deal. So you kind of fell a victim of what most Americans have. They
Yeah,
were pressured by work, their job,
yeah,
the
yeah,
government.
exactly. Mhm.
Now, I'm in a position these days where who's going to pressure me to do anything?
Well, me too,
No,
man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
you
know, but like, you know, you were going to see your family, and I get it, but my family they don't like TIZZ right now, and they haven't liked TIZZ for years. For the most part, my dad
Yeah.
at least, and like that side of it, like they don't like TIZZ, and that's
Yeah.
fine. I don't care.
Yeah,
Life is good without you in my life, people.
yeah,
Okay, so I don't have any pressure to get it. My mom is vaccinated, and my stepfather, he's the most pro-Trump motherfucker. When he got it because of his job, and he didn't, and just recently he did because he had to. He couldn't go back to work without it.
yeah.
He got it right before Christmas.
But
I
fuck you,
wasn't-
companies. Fuck these companies
Yeah.
that are doing this bullshit, dude. Like, fuck you and the horse you rode in on. If everybody at the office is vaccinated, what the fuck does it matter if one or two
That's
guys
the whole
aren't?
point. If you're, the crazy thing is, and I'm like, every time this conversation comes up, I just hold my tongue. They're like,
Yeah.
"Are you vaccinated?" And I'm like, "It's none of your business." I try to say that as casually as possible. I was like, does it make a difference if I am or not? They're like, "Well, you know," I'm like, "Well, let me ask you a question. Are you vaccinated?" Like, "Yeah, I got my booster." I'm like, "Well, then why do you care if I am? You're protected. How are you can't get sick, right? Because that's the whole point."
Yeah.
And I'm like,
And see, my
gives a
mom's been
shit
talking
if
about
I'm
the booster.
vaccinated? Who gives a
My
shit
mom's
if
been
I'm
telling me to-
vaccinated? If you're
Yeah.
vaccinated, then you shouldn't give a fuck if anybody else is.
Yeah,
Because you're
exactly.
protected. Supposedly protected. That's what you took it for. So don't ask me or anybody if they are vaccinated because you took the shot. Not pointing at you, Toowoketogobroke. I get it. I'm just
No, I know.
saying.
Yeah.
But anybody
Yeah.
who has the nerve to ask anybody, "Are you vaccinated?" What does it matter? Are you? If you are,
Yeah.
what the fuck do you care? You're protected according to the American fucking government. You put that shot in your
Exactly.
arm, so fuck off. Like,
Yeah.
no, I'm not going to answer that question. You have to
Yeah.
guess. If you don't want to do, but now if it's a client, you know, I might.
I'll tell you how you answer it if you're a client, which I'm sure you already know this. You just say, actually, I just took my antibodies test and it's off the charts.
That's what I
your
said.
antibodies
I
are-
don't lie to him. I don't lie to him. I'm like,
No.
look, no, I'm not. And I can't get vaccinated right now because I just got Omicron. But at the same time, I'm good. Like,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
you can believe that or not, and whatever. But I'm honest. I'm honest because I'm not gonna fucking sit there and bullshit. Like, no, I'm not gonna
Yeah.
say I'm vaccinated to a client when I'm not. I'm gonna be honest about it.
No,
but
yeah,
it's-
I agree.
But what are you so fucking worried about?
Well,
That's
they just
why they
made
got
this,
it, you know?
Yeah, they just made it this thing that was like basically like you're
they'll buy
un-American.
the media says it, then they're gonna buy into it, man. Because that's why I don't watch the news, people. It's just a bunch of bullshit, man. These people
Well, it's
want.
like first of all,
You don't think Pfizer and
FDA.
Moderna, like, pump money into that for them to pump it up? We're gonna get the 4th booster shots coming out next week. It's like the next album.
I know.
The next album's dropping, fam. Like the next,
Like, hey, yo, this one's got red 40 in it.
your new album dropping next week, yo.
Yellow number 5, man. I got the red one, dude. Did you get the red one or you get the
Yeah,
yellow one?
they put Mountain Dew in that shit. That's what it is, yeah.
Yeah, man. It's just like, man, fuck off.
We just ripped on the fucking, we just ripped on fucking vaccine so hard right there. But it's true. I'm glad we talked about that because honestly, that's the truth, man. That's what's going on in the world today.
Yeah.
Like, look, man, like I ain't getting that shit. And you know what? Like, if I can't go to fucking Europe, so fucking be it, dude. Like, I'll figure it out. Like,
Here's a thought for all you people out here that judge other motherfuckers for not getting the vaccine. Putin made everybody get the vaccine.
He did.
Just remember that.
What's in that?
Remember that shit.
What's in that shit? Like, how do they know what's in that?
Well, no, I'm just saying Putin made everybody do it. You
Yeah,
just like
it's
Putin.
called
That's what you like.
fascism and
Yeah.
motherfucking dictatorship. When you are forced to get something and inject it into your body to go on a motherfucking airplane or across state lines, dude, that's straight up Nazi shit right there, bro.
Yeah.
That is straight up 1940
Yeah.
Europe.
Anytime people are gonna say, "Show me your papers," to do just about anything.
Show me your papers.
Look, it ain't
That's
a
all you need to
stretch.
say. Holy
Yeah,
shit.
fuck
I never
you.
thought about it like that. Show me your papers. That's some
Yeah.
Gestapo motherfucking what was the other nickname for those pieces of shit back in the day? There was the Gestapo. They had another nickname for them. It doesn't matter. That's exactly what that is. You put it
it's
on there.
bullshit.
Show me your papers.
Yeah, it's
Show me
like
your
it's just
papers.
one step.
That's going to be the name of this episode. Show me your papers.
Yeah.
Show me your fucking papers because that's so fucking right, dude. You're so right. And it's so wrong. It's
It
so
is.
wrong for them to do this and brainwash the American
Yeah.
people. And the American people are so susceptible to this. And that's the fucking problem. People stop watching TV. Go watch YouTube. Fucking watch YouTube. I guarantee you get a better education up of watching some YouTube videos than you will CNN or Fox.
Yeah. And for me, it's always about precedent. Like, and again, neither one of us think vaccines are inherently bad, nor this one.
I don't. I get my flu shot, man, every year. Because I'm so susceptible to the flu. Isn't that crazy? I get the flu every year. I get sick. But
Quit taking the flu shot.
That might be it. Right?
Emily,
That might be it.
my wife, the 2 years she's taking the flu shot, she got the flu.
I get the flu every year. I don't get sick.
Dude, don't
when I
take
get
the flu
sick,
shot.
When I get sick, I get sick. Like I get it really hard. Just like Omicron. Like I got it. It was 24 hours of hell. But it was gone. That's always been me. I'll catch it and it'll go, but it's like 2 days of shit. But you know what's crazy? You're right. Maybe it is the motherfucking vaccine.
Don't take that fucking shot this year and just see what happens.
No,
See what happens.
after this, I'm not going back to the doctor. Fuck it. I have
Yeah,
no
nah,
reason
good
to,
for you,
unless I'm
man.
like sick
Yeah.
of shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, why? Like, why?
Insurance. Here's one thing, like, and it's just so funny how like both sides will like argue about the same shit, but they all believe the same thing. Everybody in this country will pretty much agree that our health system blows. I mean,
It's
everybody.
horrible.
But
There's
but
no
the
other
right will
country. I
say-
think every country, well, not every country, but every first world country, like look at France, man. They don't make their people pay for fucking health insurance. You get hurt, even if
well,
you
they pay.
go to Tahiti and fall off a motorcycle, right? You're just on vacation. That's a French territory. Guess what? The French laws apply. They don't have health insurance. You don't need it. If you hurt yourself in Tahiti, which is a French colony, you are taken care of. You're fine. They're going to take care of you.
What people got to realize is
In America,
this.
they won't do that. ever.
Yeah.
By the way.
And see, I think there's can be a balance. Like, I don't mind private healthcare. What I mind is private insurance.
Yeah.
Like, why do we have a middleman that makes billions of dollars in the middle of you
Fuck
and your
AIG.
doctor?
Fuck
Like,
AIG.
it'd be like if your car insurance company dictated what kind of car you can buy. Oh, you have Geico, so you can only buy a Ford or a Hyundai. You see, Chevy is not in network.
You can buy whatever you
and-
want, but it's going to come at a premium.
Yeah, see, Chevy's not in our network. Tesla's definitely not in our network. So we're no, you're getting a Ford or a Hyundai, and if you want it worked on, ooh shit, you know what? Let's work. I'll work out the prices with Ford, and then I'll get back
tack
to you.
on 200%.
And see, you're gonna pay the bill up front, like fixing your car might be $2,000, and then we'll get back to you with like a little refund when we figure out what the real price is between me and Ford. But you won't be privy to that price. But you just got to take my word for it.
Yeah, take my word
your
for
bill's paid. You know what I
Take my
mean?
word
It's
for it.
like,
You don't know me, but I'm
you.
looking out for your best interest.
Yeah, and
fuck
then
outta here.
meanwhile, the same country that develops most of the drugs, we pay the most out of any other country in the world for the same drug.
Honestly, we pay
crazy.
the most. I think America probably shells out more money to all this bullshit.
Yeah.
These days.
Yep.
It-
And Joe
it is
Biden,
insane.
fuck Joe Biden. He is the reason. Don't get me wrong. Obamacare was not perfect when it first was drafted. It actually was pretty dope, but then to get it passed, they had to
I
do a
had
lot
it.
of
I was like
concessions.
on something that was associated with it.
Well,
I don't
I'm
know.
talking about before it was even a law. It was actually the first draft. It was way too complicated, but it had a lot of good things in it. Okay. And then they had to make a lot of concessions so that a few of the Republicans would vote for it. And then Joe Biden's little bitch ass, who's Mr. Big Insurance. The insurance company has their fucking whole fist up their ass and they just talk with his mouth. He's like a ventriloquist act, you know what I mean? Like, but anyways,
fuck insurance companies.
He's all about big insurance companies. So all these people that are like, Joe Biden's a fucking communist, you're an idiot. You're an idiot. He's a big business douchebag like the rest of them. He's basically Ronald Reagan with a different immigration policy.
Just older.
With a different,
right. You're right.
He is conservative light. He is basically an 80s Republican. That's who Joe Biden is, guys.
And he's also
all this other shit. He doesn't believe. You think he agrees with AOC on social issues?
Does he know who AOC is?
Do you think he gives a fuck about black people?
No.
Do you think he gives a shit about anything progressive in the entire world? No. He just tells you what you want to hear. He's a douche.
And a lot of
thinks
people don't want to
marijuana-
hear this, honestly.
He
They
thinks
don't.
marijuana should be illegal. He's the reason marijuana is not being legalized
But guess
as
what?
we speak.
But marijuana has actually become more fucking legal recently, at least in Texas, than it ever has
marijuana-
before. Than it ever has.
If
I can go
Bernie
down the street and buy a
Sanders-
little container of Delta 9 THC, which is the real deal, guys. It's not Delta 8, for $25. Literally, I can go down the street.
Let me tell you one thing, and I just had this thought. The one thing that sucks that's coming from this, right? Well, a lot of things suck, but I'm saying one thing that
Really
marijuana
sucks.
may have had a chance to get a little push at midterms because the Dems were not looking good, but nothing brings people together to vote for the guy in power like fucking geopolitical problems. For some reason, we just think
War.
"Oh, you can't change a president while this shit's going on. Why the fuck not? Who gives a shit?
Well, you
but
saw his
Joe
speech the other
Biden
day.
is a piece of shit. And
Hey,
any
he's
other
very-
Democratic nominee that was up there that would have won, marijuana would be on the agenda as we speak. But not Joe Biden.
At this point, like weed, people, marijuana should be the least of anybody's fucking thoughts or problems. Like, for the love of whatever the fuck. But like, what really? Like, I don't know. I mean, I
Bro,
haven't been
you know what?
arrested in a long
Did you know that
time.
marijuana is higher on the schedule list than fentanyl?
No, wait, how's that even possible?
Fentanyl is a Schedule 2.
I know.
narcotic.
But
Marijuana is Schedule 1.
Well, most drugs are Schedule 1. I think
No, a lot of
90.
pharmaceutical. No, Schedule 1 means no medicinal benefit.
Is that what it? Okay, is that the definition of it or whatever?
Yeah, I believe so.
I'm actually curious. Schedule 1 versus Schedule 2. Little fact for you guys, real quick. Controlled drugs, Texas State Board of Pharmacy. Schedule 1, drugs with a high abuse risk. These drugs have no safe, accepted medical use in the United States. Some examples are heroin, marijuana, LSD, PSP, and crack. Schedule 2, drugs with a high abuse rate risk, but also have safe and accepted medical use in the United States.
So what they're tricking you with is heroin's not on there, but guess what is?
Well, heroin was the number
Oxycontin.
1.
No, I know, but I'm saying, but OxyContin, fentanyl, all the
those are
medical?
those are opioids.
they're Schedule 2
they're not
because
opi-
a pharmaceutical
opiates.
company. Yeah, because a
They're
pharmaceutical
opioids.
company made it. That's why it's
There's no
Schedule
such
2.
thing as marijuana it's and marijuana oids. There's just THC. So it's just one category. So you're taking a synthetic version of an opiate, which is one of the most dangerous substances in high amounts or whatever. When it's natural, poppy, if you don't overdo it, it's probably just as bad for your health as marijuana is, but yet you're shooting it, and all of a sudden here comes the pharmacies, like Purdue pharmacies, like the Sackler family.
You smoke a gram of straight opium,
Yeah,
you have a 50%
just straight
chance
opium from a flower.
You have 50%.
And I've smoked
chance,
I smoked opium when I was like a teenager.
but
It was
you
on
have
top
about
of
a
weed.
50. You have about a 50% chance of dying. Okay, you can smoke
it
100
50%?
grams of weed.
Is it 50%?
If you
really?
if you smoked a gram to the head,
oh,
got a good-
that's
yeah.
insane. That's a lot. That'll
yes,
kill
but
you,
my
most
point
likely.
is that you can't even put marijuana in the same sentence with that shit.
No, I
You
know.
what I mean?
I know. You're right. Yeah. The crazy thing
But it's
when
just
people
funny
don't-
how
they
heroin,
shoot it.
heroin, opium Schedule 1. Why? Because no doctor can prescribe it for you.
Yeah.
That is the difference, people.
Okay, that I was kind of wondering, but you're right. And so these Schedule 3, 4, and 5s, drugs
I don't
with
even
an
know what
abuse
those are.
risks less than Schedule 2. These drugs have this.
Maybe like Sudafed, like shit like
So
that. maybe,
here's
like
here's
weird-
what falls within a Schedule 3, 4, and 5. They have these listed out. So let me read it. These drugs also have safe and accepted medical uses in the United States. Schedule 3, 4, and 5 drugs include those containing smaller amounts of certain analgesic, analgesics.
like so that's like pain reducers. Or
Some examples are acetaminophen. That's Tylenol, people, with codeine. So Tylenol 3s. That's exactly what it says in parentheses. Paragyric, diazepam, Valium, alprazolam, Xanax, propazine.
which, by the way, Xanax probably has the highest addiction rate of probably almost any drug out there
Xanax.
besides maybe
Xanax is one of the worst and most addictive things when you take it once, at least. It's
one of
so
the only
addictive.
drugs that will kill you on the company.
It's like alcohol.
Yeah.
The action, the
Yeah.
withdrawal of Xanax.
the legal drug. The legal drug.
The legal version of it, yes. Now you have to the crazy thing is like now it's like it's already bad enough. And now people are getting it off the street and potentially it's cut with fentanyl. You mix fucking fentanyl with alprazolam, a fucking benzo, it'll kill you. And if it doesn't kill you on that combo, guess what will kill you? The fucking withdrawal. The withdrawal will kill you. It's like alcohol. It is a pill version of alcohol. You take enough of it and you do not wean yourself off, you will seizure and you will die. You will die.
Yep.
It is
Grand
one of the
mal
most
seizure.
deadliest things. Now you could shoot heroin, do opioids and all that shit, and you'll
The
feel
come
like
down will be
shit.
terrible.
You'll feel like
Coming
shit.
off of that-
Supposedly, I
yeah.
never had to witness that like that.
Me neither. But the withdrawals
But
are bad.
You
they will
you feel
not
like shit,
kill
but it
you.
won't kill you. But Xanax will kill you, people. Alcohol, that shit will kill you. And if you're doing both, and I've done it, been there, done it a lot. I've done a lot of
plenty
both of them
times.
in together. And I don't know how I haven't died from that, because there's been times where I was taking a lot and I stopped. Just cold turkey stopped.
Yeah.
But I'm weird. My body's weird. I don't know.
Well, but you weren't. I mean, and maybe I don't know.
No, I got real bad with that.
But you weren't taking like 10 of them
Oh yeah, I was
daily.
yeah, it got to that point.
All right. Well,
I mean, I was able to stop myself, but there was a point where I was taking 5 just to start the day.
yeah.
That's a
damn.
lot.
All right.
That's 10
Yeah, hell
milligrams.
yeah, that's a ton, bro.
And
Think
when
if
you
took 5
stop,
today,
and you blackout for a week.
yeah.
Easily. Wrecking my car. I go downstairs. It's in a ball of metal, but yet I somehow got it home. Like didn't get arrested.
Yeah.
That is the definition of Xanax. It's so every time I've ever fucked my shit up, it's all been because of Xanax and alcohol. Every fucking thing I've done in my life that is, nobody can fuck Tizz up more than Tizz can fuck himself up. I'm not scared of anybody. There is nobody on the planet. Putin couldn't fuck me up more than I fucked myself up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can't scare me. I'm my own worst. I am my own enemy. Like I put myself through more shit. People, I'm just telling y'all this. Like, I don't know how we ended up on this topic, but we might as well just say it. That combination, Xanax alone took a lot of my life for me. People, don't go on the streets and buy that shit now. I was buying it 10 years ago.
Yeah, it was safe back then.
Yeah. And now
to buy.
Most of the time you're buying shit that's pressed. You don't know what's in it. You don't have to taste it. You're just swallowing it. But it's scary shit, man. Like it's fucked up. I mean,
if you're buying street drugs, assume it's cut with
look, and
I'm
telling you this from somebody who's had serious problems with this. People do not. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. And if you're already deep in it, like fuck, man, like do whatever you can. Like reach out, fucking reach out, man. Like these days, it'll kill you very quickly, so fast. You have no chance.
Yep.
The odds are so against you now. They were against me. I shouldn't be here, but I am. Like people, like now, you really don't have a chance. We were
really the last generation. Maybe and a couple years younger than us, but like that, like 5-6 years.
We wrote it out to the end.
We were the last people that could buy drugs on the street, and pretty much you got what you bought. You know what I mean? Like
especially like pharmaceutical shit.
Yeah.
There was perfect example. Look at Drink. Look at Lean. Look at what happened with that.
And even if you bought a Pressy in our day, it was still the same drug. It was just they ordered the fucking drug from China in like bulk and gave it to you. But fentanyl, it's like, dude, you have to like literally be a fucking science guy to mix it properly. It's like so potent.
And these people are not scientist people. Like you got to realize they're just taking it and like just dashing it in a batch and mixing it. They're not measuring the shit. They don't know.
No.
And this is
they
all
don't
for
care.
profit. It's all for profit. That's the problem. Technology and money, you bring them together like this, people are going to cut corners. And people are going to die, but nobody cares because money.
Obviously we know what we know now. I do like to think that if I was young today, I probably wouldn't take drugs like I did when I was younger, unless I literally saw it come out of like a pill bottle from the pharmacy. Like if you don't
have a point though, we're more educated now because of this shit. You have a point. But back then in 2002, 2003, when we were in high school,
we bought what we got.
Yeah. What kind of like research could we have done? We were just like bars. Yeah, like that's what you knew about. So you didn't know.
But I'm saying, like today as a teen, I think with the information, I would have probably thought, I don't think I'm gonna fuck with those because I don't know what's in it. I like to know what I'm taking. I'd take some shit back in the day, but I knew what was in it. Like if you don't know what's in it, like you got to be stupid to take that shit.
And that's the beauty about weed. You can't really cut it. You can't cut weed. I mean, you
go back to weed.
Yeah, you can't really cut weed. Weed is weed, and it's weed. You can smoke it, and you're gonna get a little high and goofy and laugh and whatever. It's harmless. It's fucking harmless. No one dies from weed. That's why I hate these people.
Joe Biden acted like if Trump Joe Biden acted like if Donald Trump won the presidency, it was the end of America. And his geezer ass wouldn't even talk about legalizing weed to ensure his place as president. So remember that.
Why do you think that is? Is that because
he's so anti-weed?
The way
Dude,
America is, though.
It's because he's a closed-minded old
the people with
asshole.
the money. But the people with the money, I feel like they don't even these like for instance, some fucking hot shot Republican, Democrat, it doesn't matter, a politician from Virginia, right? They're gonna sit there and run for office or whatever they're running for. But at the end of the day, they're just saying fuck weed and fuck these abortions and all this shit because that's what they feel like the American people want to hear to get them in office. I don't know, man. Like it's fucked up. Do they really believe that?
The weed doesn't fit that narrative, but the abortion does. I mean, the abortion.
Yeah, I threw abortion in there for the fuck of it.
75% of, I'd say like a big portion of Republican voters, not anymore, but 10 years ago when it was like kind of the same parties that we grew up with, I'd say 80% of them voted based on abortion was like one of the top 2-3 items that they.
And why is it so important to these people? What the fuck
they
does
fucking
it matter?
Are judgmental.
Not China. It's not China. We're overpopulated. Like what the fuck?
Because they're judgmental Christians. I mean, I'll say it. That's why.
How does it affect their lives? Like, why do they care? I'll never understand it ever. And it doesn't matter.
They don't give a shit once you're born.
It's been going on for so long at this point. I was like, you can't change.
Hey, what's going on in Texas anyway? Have you heard more about like what's up with this abortion thing? Like, has anybody gone to jail for taking somebody to it? Like, because I know they put the bounty thing on there. Like, have you heard any?
I have not heard anything about abortions in quite some time at this point, and I'm glad you actually said that. Like,
well, because they just fucking on this? Well, they just made it illegal in Texas to take someone to an abortion clinic.
No, I know that, and we talked about this on another show. Remember, I was like,
"Yeah,
this affects me.
That was awesome.
This affects me. Yeah. Like, it actually affects me. I can feel that because I've been in that situation before." And you're like, "Wait, what?" I was like, "Oh no!" I was like, "Here we go."
Now you somehow you compared it to like cattle or something crazy.
I did. Oh god, it's on the episode. Yeah. I'm not gonna say it. That was something I'm not gonna listen to.
But it was, but yeah, no,
you compared it to cattle. Oh, that just sounds horrible.
But it's like, mind your fucking business, people. Somebody wants to smoke crack, mind your business.
You know what? Most people who smoke crack don't really harm anybody else for the most part. There are some crazy ones.
The only time they harm people is when they can't afford more crack and they go steal it.
Or they're like, they get cornered and they go crazy or some shit like that. But
if I ran for president, man, if you got a crack problem, I'm going to give you crack.
As of September 1st, 2021, the state of Texas has enacted a new abortion restriction known as Senate Bill 8, SB 8. The law limits our ability to provide abortion care. This is coming from Planned Parenthood. They wrote this. So the ability to provide abortion care in Texas beyond about 6 weeks of pregnancy, and sometimes even earlier. We are fighting this law in court, and we will stay here for you. I mean, that was just but that was in September. That was when we talked
6 weeks. That's 6 weeks, man. And then they made it like a bounty where if I say you took your girl to an abortion clinic across the state lines, if I turned you in and they found out, I'd like get money and you'd go to jail.
The crazy thing is when I had to deal with this kind of shit, whatever, guys, I don't care. But you pull up the Planned Parenthood and there's like protesters there. What the fuck are they protesting? Nobody's listening.
What do they do?
Nothing. I mean, they stay there all day and they stand outside the building. Bro, I was like, what is going on? I didn't know. This is all new to me. They're standing outside all day, just yelling and screaming.
With the
and
pictures of fetuses
poor
and shit.
Chicks. It's like, yeah, it's fucked up. Right? Talk about a fuck me moment. Because I was already dealing with a fuck me moment. And then I pull up this shit. I'm like, oh my God. Like they escort you to the building, but they ain't come out like their team because these protesters scare these chicks out. That's their goal. And like,
well, they're scary people. Look in their eyes. They fucking got crazy eyes.
And normally I'd have got out of the car and been like, I would have unleashed because I don't have a filter, but I had to like keep myself composed.
Yeah, keep it
because,
calm.
Yeah, I didn't even look
yeah.
at him. I just walked inside, and that was like 20. I wasn't even 30 yet. So
Yeah.
Nobody warned me about that. I didn't know. I was like, whoa. And then this happened. And I was like,
Yeah.
So no wonder I made that comment about the cattle. Tizz Gang, just go watch the fucking episode. It was like 4 episodes ago. Larry was on the show.
You know what? I'd like to talk about NPCs one time.
NPCs?
So if you play video games, NPCs are non-playable characters. Okay. So they're people that, they just help the storyline, or they, like when you're playing GTA, right? And there's like the hookers wandering down the street, staggering. That's an NPC.
Hey, baby, do you need some company?
Yeah. Or just the random people. Or just the random people walking down the street, right? Those are NPCs.
Okay.
And
what does that stand for? So non-player character. I'm looking it up. Okay,
non-player characters. So like the reason I bring this up is because you just mentioned those people outside the abortion clinic. Those are like, strike me as NPCs. Are they real? Is this a simulation? Like, who in their right mind is just sitting out there like a full-time job, waving a sign around against abortion?
It's the church.
Who's sitting behind Joe Biden or Hillary Clinton in the background waving a sign? I'm with her. NPCs. These people are not real. They have no thoughts of their own. They're just drones. News says good. News says this bad. They don't know anything. They're NPCs. They're just following the program.
The characteristics of an NPC. In appearance, the NPC character is gray in color. Simple in design, with an expressionless face, a triangular nose, a blank stare. The shape of the NPC face resembles that of a Wojak. The fuck does that mean?
I don't know what that is.
It is drawn crudely. Okay, I don't even need to say anything else. I think that summed it up.
Yeah, but that's what I've been thinking about lately as I see these people. It's just like, are they real? I mean, who are these people? Who raised these people?
I don't know. The world is out of control right now, man. Like, it is. There's so much fucked up shit going on. It's all being exposed now on the TIZZ TALK Podcast, people. Fuck these NPC motherfuckers, man.
The funniest, I shouldn't say funniest, but the most ironic is the guy who hates abortion so much that he kills people. He blows up the clinic or shoots the doctor. It's like, wait a second. So abortion's bad because you're killing somebody. So you went and killed somebody?
Killing someone who's not actually here yet, in my
sounds
opinion.
like I mean, that just sounds crazy. Like,
if they don't know that they're here yet, like they don't know of their existence, then how the fuck is it murder? They're not. Oh, here we go. Like,
I mean, I'm not even here to talk. It's just, who are you people?
I just don't have a filter self-as
Send us an email. We'd like to hear from any of you assholes. Really, I mean, it's just like
TIZZ TALK, TIZZTALK @gmail.com. I'll fucking
any pro Russians, any like hardcore pro. I'd love to hear send us an email.
We're gonna get my boy on the show because after we just spoke about it and all that, if he wants to, totally. Like, look, if I was a stubborn motherfucker, I wouldn't even mention it. But I'm admitting that, like, when he sent me the message, it kind of fucked with me because I respect this dude, and I didn't think twice. And that's his home country.
Yeah,
so I don't know.
And I don't want people getting it twisted. Like, just because we're talking about why Putin may have done what he did, or that they actually may have some. I mean, they have some legitimate beefs. We're not saying that what he did is right at all. Like, what he's doing in Ukraine is fucked up. Like, it's bad. You don't go to war.
People are dying. People are
with civilians. You're blowing up.
Civilians are dying from
a fucking missile just ripped into a fucking apartment building. Like, it's not cool. Nothing's right about that. That's not what we're saying. But we would like to understand more about the conflict. Why did Putin, what has he been doing to maybe prevent it? What is he doing to egg it on? Like, we just want to know all the angles. And it's
that's
hard
the
to
problem,
find.
man, is the media it's just they've taken the center stage at this like they normally do. And the problem is when they take the center stage, it's super hard for a normal person, American or not, to get the information. And a lot of people don't have they have the resources to an extent, but like these days, a lot of people have it and they just don't know where to look. And
you know what's funny is we're in the day of where me and you or anybody else for that matter could get online.
Yeah,
and
it's like we can start our news channel here and talk. And like this is CNN. This is what they
look
do.
Up anything they want. They can look up anything they want, right? All of us can. And yet, in a weird way, there's like less sources today than there were 20 years ago in a weird way. It's like all the shit
exactly.
Like what I mean by that is, okay, like my phone, it'll alert me, right? Oh, Vladimir Putin just invaded Ukraine, right?
It's like when Kobe Bryant died, everybody's phone went the fuck off. It was like 3 seconds and the whole world knew Kobe Bryant had just passed away.
Exactly. And so it's like we have more information, yet we all look at the same information. And it's like, we know less. Even
is there
though
a term for that? Over-informed, or I mean, I don't know. Is that?
It's like thing? We know. I don't know, but it's like the. What's?
I mean, these days you don't even like back in the 90s. The 90s that wasn't that long ago.
Yeah,
the 90s. We lived through the 90s. You wanted news? You went to work. You came home. You turned on TV. That was you're gonna get your news or the newspaper. The newspaper. Do y'all even know what a newspaper is? I mean, when was the last time anybody picked up a fucking newspaper? So what I'm getting these days, your phone beeps and it's like Kobe Bryant's dead in a helicopter crash. And then,
but here's my
entire world knew that within minutes.
At the same time.
I was washing my car outside. I'll never forget this. I looked at my phone. Said Kobe Bryant had just played against the LeBron, and LeBron surpassed him that night for the most points played in the game. Or no, Kobe wasn't playing. He was at the game. That's what
he wasn't playing.
He was at the game, and he died on the helicopter crash home. I thought it was a joke. I was like, they're over it. No, it was true, but the way it happened, your phone shows it to you. It's almost like not real.
Yeah, but here's my point: is not only your phone tells you, right? Then you get online, not necessarily looking for that story, right? Because you just read the story. You don't need to look at it more. Maybe you're going on to confirm it's true, but even so, so your phone tells you, let's just use that because it's a good example. Kobe Bryant died. Okay. Now I'm getting on my phone.
That's a great example because I'll never forget that.
Now I go on my phone and just say I'm going to search something, right? And then what's going to happen? Google's going to have the
top 5 paid.
And guess what they're all going to be about? Kobe Bryant just died. And it doesn't matter the sources. They all are going to tell you the exact same thing. They're not going to add anything else to the story. But no matter where you look, that's the news that you're going to get. So it's like we have more sources, but they talk about less shit. They talk about the same bullshit.
It's so bad.
And then here's the other problem is there's like more bias. I feel like we used to have some objectivity. Now it's gotten so bad that like, say you want to find alternative news. It's like so far right or so far left that you just read between the lines without even trying.
Here's the beauty of this entire thing that you're saying. Look at YouTube now. Look what we're doing right now. Me and you right now.
Yeah.
This moment. Mm-hmm. This is a fucking news channel, really. If you think about it, like what we're talking about. And like, this is nothing. I don't watch TV. Everything I get is on YouTube. That's how powerful this shit is.
Yeah.
And Ross Gerber, again, not to hype the guy up, but man, he brings up good points. He was hyping YouTube so hard. And I was like, he's so right. He's right because he's super invested with Google, and Google owns YouTube, and YouTube is the future of the people. Graham Stephan, Meet Kevin, all these guys, they're younger than us. They're 29, 30 millionaires off of YouTube, just saying what they want to say financial intelligence, shit that you aren't going to learn in school, people. You're going to learn how to do taxes and play the stock market in school. Go on YouTube. You could fucking make millions of dollars just by educating yourself. You can make millions off of educating yourself and then making your own channel and making it monetized. These people make $10,000 a month minimum. Some of these people have like hundreds of thousands of views. And so that's why I'm so intrigued by this shit. I'm trying to ramp my shit up right now. TIZZ Gang, smash the subscribe button, fucking hit the fucking notifications. Give me a thumbs up, like the algorithms, you know, like fucking let's do this shit. Fuck all the media outlets. YouTube.
Yeah, I hate that Google owns YouTube. I wish they had just
bought it. They
fucking
bought it
independent.
like prime time, right? When it was like brand new, 2006.
Because see, like Netflix and all this bullshit, it's just another version of the same crap.
You have no choice.
Shitty programming, crappy shows. They're spending more and more on the shows, but it doesn't matter. It's still shit. You know what I mean?
It has to get approved.
Squid Games.
Oh,
This is
God.
dog shit, dude. That's dog shit.
Dude, here's a perfect example of how dog shit it is. Some motherfuckers got the smart idea to go start a crypto coin called Squid Coin within days of Squid Games coming out. And guess what people did? They piled into it. They piled into this shit. I'm talking billions of dollars across the board. And guess what happened? Nobody knew who owned this coin. There was no regulation. They rug pulled these motherfuckers. I mean, they ran the market cap up. This is in September. People, this is 6 months ago. Not even. How can you be dumb? That dumb? Why would you buy something called Squid Coin? Especially
but by the same token, dude, if you bought fucking Shiba, you know what I mean? It's like, it's just retardation pays sometimes too. Like, it's just crazy. It's like, I mean, but
good
back
point,
to the
Shiba.
Yeah,
I mean,
back to the
not enough. That Shiba,
back to the media though, man. It's like, guys, I mean, there's gotta be.
You're losing your breath there for a second. That's how fucking frustrating this.
There's gotta be, and YouTube is probably the closest thing we have to what the internet should be.
The beauty about YouTube, it is still censored, but when you find something that you like and you actually are like, well, you know, and you can follow these people outside of YouTube.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, you can follow these people outside of YouTube and continue to hear what they have to say. Because if they're saying something that's truthful and it's pissing the man upstairs off of YouTube and all this shit, Google, it's affecting their share price, whatever. There's a reason for that. They're going to stop that shit immediately and they're going to boot you. And there's a reason why when you post something on Instagram and it's not content worthy in their eyes, it gets blocked because it goes against their guidelines. It probably hurts their fucking pockets.
Yeah. But what happened? Yeah, I hate that shit, dude. Freedom of speech. And I get it. These are private companies. You don't have freedom of speech.
You don't have a choice.
But when they become the go-to end-all be-all, then freedom of speech needs to kick back in. I mean, how can you sit there? I mean, for a while there, and I hate to keep going back to the same thing, but
I think people need to hear this shit.
If you had even reservations about the vaccine, if you posted that shit on almost anything, I don't care.
Oh, you can't post anything about a vaccine or COVID related without
you couldn't
Instagram
even
putting that
say COVID in a
it.
post.
Yeah.
If your post didn't say go get the vaccine.
Yeah. Yeah. How many fucking kickbacks did you get from pro-vaccine post? I don't know. That's a good question.
Almost every post I tried to boost. And they weren't even anti-vax. They weren't anti-vax. They really weren't. Because I'm not anti-vax. But every post I made, I don't care what it said, even if it just had a hashtag of COVID, they're like, no.
Their algorithms pick it up. They don't even have to look for it.
Like,
the robots.
What is going on? And that's when it's like, follow that shit. Know what those items are, because there's a
Why are they suppressing it?
Why?
What are they hiding?
And what do they give a shit about? Like,
what are they hiding?
Yeah.
Why are they hiding stuff? They shouldn't be hiding anything. If you're putting anything in your fucking body, you shouldn't be hiding anything.
Yeah. Look, if you're on a page arguing with Trump people, or you're a Trump people person arguing with Biden people. That's why you're there. You love it. You love it. You already
And
believe.
that's a good point. Why are y'all going to sit there and waste your fucking finger strength on arguing with a robot?
Yeah, exactly.
Literally, it's a robot on the other
It's
side.
an
of the screen.
NPC. Even if
It's
it's
an
a real
NPC.
person, it's a fucking non-playable
It's
character.
an NPC, man. It really is. And I know people who get on Facebook, they don't text. Everything they do, they fucking argue with each other on Facebook. It's like, you do realize when you do that, everybody can see your fucking comments. It's all for public. Are y'all fucking crazy? This is way before the pandemic. Like, I'm like, I was so anti fucking Facebook because I was like, why would I ever? Because me not having a filter, going on Facebook and going on a rant is trouble. Yeah, it's enough trouble for me to do it on a text message because it's writing, but people are out there like putting it all out there on fucking Facebook, right? Like, get the fuck out. People, what the fuck? Are you that dumb? Like, these people are watching everything that you said. They're documenting all of it. Everything. It's so fucked, dude. It's so fucked up. My fucking family, the people that I don't get along with, is Cheeks. She loves to get on Facebook and I can see this shit. I'm not even friends with her on Facebook anymore. I can see everything because it's for everybody. And people don't even worry about what I'm talking about. I'm just, that's it. Never mind.
And we gotta quit caving in to these NPCs. The people bitching
I love
about
this NPC. This is
all these people bitching about the motherfucking you know, whatever it is, whatever they're getting offended about. They're not real people. They're fake. They may have a heartbeat. They're not real. Okay. They're fake. They're just programmed. They don't even know why they think what they think.
They'll argue with you about shit that they don't even understand because
one of my favorite things
is right. They're right. They're right.
If I'm wrong. One of my favorite things is being wrong. Because guess what? I get to think, oh shit, I didn't know that. These motherfuckers never have that thought. They're never wrong.
No, they're not.
Never wrong.
Ever. And I'll admit that I'm wrong these days. Like, I used
Putin
to
proved me wrong 3 days ago. I told my mom, I go, he's not invading. You guys are so foolish. It's just hyperbole.
You told me that, and what was my response? I don't know. I was like, I don't know what's gonna happen. I can't say he will. He won't.
I thought he was just bluffing to finally get us to agree, maybe to say, okay, look, Ukraine's never gonna be in NATO, but you can't invade, like blah blah, something like that. No military bases in Ukraine, like fine. Besides their own, but no foreign, fine. But no, that wasn't his plan to begin. That wasn't his plan. No.
And that's the thing. And when you said it, I had no opinion. These days, I'm like, anything can happen. I've seen so much shit in the past couple of years, and even in my own life, it's like nothing will surprise me these days. Like, I have no idea, bro. Like, that's why I'm like, I don't know. The market could go up, it could go down, it could, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
You just never know. And
no, you don't.
You don't. And I've learned, me being as stubborn as I can be, I thought I knew everything. I was always right. It's always right. I'm not always right now. I have no problem admitting that. And I think that should show by me being like, my buddy who reached out, I was like, fuck. I was like, man, that sucks. That I almost feel bad. But like, at the same time, we got to get him on the show. I'm going to have to reach out.
We got to get him on the show. That would be a great show. Yeah. That would be great show.
For sure. I'm going to reach out to him.
Let him know. We'll map that. I mean, that show will be precise. It won't be I want to get down to some real questions written out not just going with the flow. Like,
we're remodeling this TIZZ Gang. Like, this is welcome to TIZZ Talk 2.0. Like, I know I've said this so many times, but I mean this now. I spent all weekend rebranding my own self on social media. I took Chucktizz down. He's gone. It's Taylor. If I can say my last name on the show, but y'all can figure it out. My name is Taylor, and I'll leave it at that. And I went to all my social media and named myself full name, last name. I'm not bullshitting anymore. I'm not bullshitting anymore.
Nice, man.
And this is getting rebranded too. TIZZ Talk is here to stay for sure. That is 100%. It's just getting rebranded. We're sitting on Homer's couch. that logo is gone. This is a 2022. We're starting fresh, baby. It's all good. But I know we've been running for some time. While I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna share my screen. I want to illustrate what happened in the market on the charts real quick.
Right. Yeah.
And I know that you were sitting side by side with me watching all this. So you can sit here. You see my screen?
Uh-huh.
All right. So people, this is Weeble. This is SPY. And you know what I found out you could do on, with Zoom? People we're doing this off Zoom. We're not in the same state, but even though we're sitting on the same couch, you can annotate. And so you see that on Zoom, I
Nice.
can do that, right? So I can clear it. So
That's
what I
dope.
want to show you people is this is SPY.
That's about what the volatility's been looking like.
It has, right? I was gonna say that's kind of what the market's been like anyway, so it's not so off par. Good call. So check this out. Before I start going into definitions, can you see my mouse?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. All right. This is SPY, which is the ETF that stands for Exchange Traded Fund, and it tracks the S&P 500. So what we're looking at is a daily chart. When I say daily, each candle you see here represents a day. And if it's red, that means it closed the day negative from where it opened the day prior. So I'm going to zoom back out. These two lines that go up with it, the purple, that's the 100-day moving average. Basically, you're taking the previous 100 days and averaging them out. And in a sense, whatever the movement is on that, it becomes a baseline. And it's going to follow it up in a form or fashion. And then the one below it is the 200-day moving average. Same thing. If you do notice one trend here, the SPY typically stays above the 100-day at all times and the 200-day at all times. And it'll come down, it'll test the 100, right? Almost close enough, right? And but it'll test it and it'll bounce off, go up, come down, test it, bounce off, right? You have the instances where it'll break a little slightly below. It'll come back up, come back, almost test it perfectly. And I'll tell you what these lines are in a second, but here's where things get a little crazy. When you got to realize, and a lot of people don't, a lot of these trading trends, they're algorithmic trading. These are robots that are programmed through algorithms to where when a daily chart comes down to a 100-day moving average, they are programmed to start buying it back, buying it back, buying it back, buying it back. It's like, I won't let it go under. And these are institutions, so they have a lot of money. There are instances where that is not enough. It's just not enough. You have enough people that are panic selling, whatever. So then it comes below it. Okay. When it breaks below the 100-day moving average and it stays below it, it's kind of like, oh shit, but it's more normal to see that. And I can show you back in time. But when you see a daily candle of the SPY break clearly below a 200-day moving average and it stays below it and it has trouble staying above it and it comes back down. But look at this. This is shining. I don't even need to draw anything. The lines do it themselves. It broke through violently. We're talking 8 days of red. It stuck down there and it tried to recover. It came up. Guess what? It hit the 100-day moving average on the bottom side. Bounced down. Came back up. Bounced down. That's called a double top. Double top is a very bearish signal. Double tops are probably one of the biggest bearish signals. Bearish meaning downside. Things are rotating in a downwards manner. Double tops are one of the biggest bearish signals on an intraday basis. It doesn't matter. If something tests something, comes down and tests it again from a technical analysis standpoint, typically it goes down. And what do you see happen here? Boom, test, consolidation. Boom, test, couldn't clear it. Came down, and guess what? It did break below that previous low. It sat down there. It actually went all the way to 410. People, first of all, SPY shouldn't be this high. QQQ, it's so pumped right now. And that's what we're seeing. And I think the last 2 days in the market, if anybody was paying attention, you saw insane upside back. Why is that? Well, let's go back in time real quick because I was a little confused myself. I was holding puts. I got burned on this play. Burned, man. Like I should have known, but it doesn't matter. It's all part of the game. Here's the deal. Let's go back to 2018. This is when the Feds did the most recent rate hike. The repo, what do they call it? The repo, whatever the fuck. Here's the deal. So it's not as violent down as it is, but look, when things come down, break behind the 200-day moving average, you're going to see some fighting back no matter what. It's not just going to shoot down to zero. You got it's the SPY. So you're going to see fighting. And so, yeah, you're going to see a week of green, maybe a week. This week could be green too. I don't know. But at the end of the day, this shit slid down to 233 from almost 300. I mean, we're talking, what is that? What is that? That's 233 divided by 300. That's 30. That's 25%. At least let's just call it 25%. That's huge. This isn't just some equity, people. This is not Apple. It's Apple's involved. This is the market, the entire market for the most part, that's sliding down 25% in a period of what? What is this? Like fucking October of 2018 to not even January of 2019, a month, maybe 6 weeks, you lose 25%. Where are we at right now, Toowoketogobroke? I think we were like negative 15% at one point.
15-ish. Yeah.
So the market likes to do things.
And there's a hell of a lot more going on than just an interest rate hike.
We ain't done, dude. We are pumped up to the tits with stimulus in the market. We got Russia and Ukraine. We got rate hikes. We got COVID. It's still here. It's not gone.
Not to mention stocks were not as juiced then either.
Tech especially. Tech.
Yeah.
Go back to fucking 2000. Look what happened back then. I mean.
Well, nothing gets juiced like tech because people have fundamental analysis on other stocks. Tech, they throw fundamentals out the window. They don't, it's crazy.
And the craziest thing is after that significant dip, which was actually kind of big, you don't hear people talk about the 2018 dip. That was bad, but it came back very quick. Look at this.
It came back so fast.
Back at the levels that it was at in October of 2018. It's 6 months. Not only that, look, it comes down. It's testing the 200 and 100 moving average. Now look at this. October 2019. Look at that run. Look at this run. So whether COVID was coming around the corner or not, we're already on a hyped ass run. We're looking at a correction in the face. Most people don't see this. You got to go back in time. It makes sense. But now look at this. This is the greatest sell-off. This is nothing compared to 2008, even 2000. It really isn't. Corona was not shit comparatively, but it was the greatest sell-off in like the shortest period of time ever. You guys are talking about the greatest dip buy opportunity that happened so fast. I wish I knew the market back then. I would have been buying this shit up in fucking March of 2020. I had no idea. This thing dropped, bro, from 340. Guys, we're talking about fucking 4 weeks here to 218. First of all, I hate to say this. This has manipulation written all over it, by the way. That run up that you just saw, that's not normal. That's not a normal run up.
I mean, it's all the Fed.
I still think that there's just too much going on here. And like they knew it was coming. And guess what? Add Corona to the equation. Let's drive it down. Like fucking sell it off. Like perfect reason to sell it. And they sold it off so bad. What did I say? 339 to
over 50%. Yeah.
218 or 218 divided by 339. So 218 divided by 3.
Oh, no, not 50%.
It's significant.
You're
talking about 46%, 45%.
Sorry, first numbers, I thought you said different.
You were close enough. I mean, bro, that was 4 weeks. of the market's value was wiped off the fucking table. There's manipulation. At that point, you can't rule manipulation out. What the
Well,
fuck
people thought the
causes-
world was gonna fucking end.
I get it.
basically.
Okay. This is a bad example about manipulation because this is a very uncommon thing. These circumstances were so fucked. Like, yeah, you had a lot of panic selling, but look at this.
But that whole run up
6 months later, 6 months later, it was back to where it was due to stimulus and due to no one giving two shits about any type of valuation of any of this shit. They were just like, let's ride the wave up. Nobody, it's fucked up.
Here's one thing that happened. So crash happened. Everybody was sitting at home. People started.
Robin Hood came into the equation for sure.
Robin Hood came in. Remember? I don't know if you remember fucking El Presidente from Barstool. Fucking
Yeah,
had his little
Stule Presidente.
Davey
He went crazy.
Day Trader.
He fucking
Davey
went
Day
nuts.
Trader. But point is, a lot of retailers got into the game then. And then what happened?
I'm one
was
of
that-
them. I'm one of them.
and then you had one of the biggest, quickest gainers after that ever. So all these new people get in the market, and then they
Money.
see profits like they've never seen before, and they think,
and it happens
oh,
from home.
and they think this is
We
easy
don't need
as
to go back to
fuck.
work.
They think,
We don't need to
man,
go
this
back to
is
work."
really easy. And then so they keep buying, and it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Stocks only go up, and then they're buying all the same tech hot shit because they don't understand any fundamentals. So all they're doing is buying Tesla, Google, only tech
Tesla,
stocks.
Apple, Google,
all the big tech
you
stocks.
name it, right? They move so fast.
And then even a lot of startups that were just hitting their head. Not that-
Palantir, look at Palantir now. They're done.
yeah.
Oh, so bad. Like, it's insane. Like, and then let's introduce you to the SPACs, SPACs. Okay.
Yes.
Most companies used to have
Which
to go through
used
an
to be
IPO
illegal.
process.
Used
and,
to be
to get on the
illegal.
market. Now they somehow I don't know how they pulled it off. How did they do that?
It technically is illegal, but somehow they've skirted the SEC somehow by, I don't know exactly how, but it used to be illegal, and I
crazy?
believe nothing changed. I don't know how they've gotten away with these holding
It's
companies.
called a special
Acquisition corporation.
acquisition corporation. So basically, it's a shell company that is taking a public company or taking a company public, puts it on the market. Then the shell company doesn't, after like a certain amount of time, it's not that long, it's like 6 months. Like, perfect example, Churchill Capital, CCIV, same company, Shamash, whatever that guy's name is, Shamash or Chamath, that
Chamath,
Indian dude,
yeah.
Chamath. He's
Yeah.
the one who brought Virgin Galactic to the market through a SPAC. He was behind CCIV, Churchill Capital Investment, whatever. They're the ones that's Lucid. At the end of the day, it's LCID Lucid, right? So when not that long ago, it was in September, they went from CCIV, the SPAC ran out, and Lucid was already on the market. It was just under CCIV, and then all of a sudden, then it was LCID. So that's what it is. And that doesn't explain anything. I still don't understand it, but it's crazy how that's legal. and how they're
Basically,
letting
it
happen.
allows you to speculate, and these things have performed. The SPACs themselves have performed horribly.
Look
They
at
start off hot.
SPCE. Look at Virgin
Yeah.
Galactic people. Here, I'm gonna pull it up. This is one of the great, like, this company, and I rode the upwave on it for sure. Dude, in July, that was 6 months ago. It was trading at all-time highs. I made money off this shit, man. And it was insane. And now it's trading below $10 fucking dollars. And guess what? Chamath just sold off last week. He's out. He got out of space. SPC. That is so fucked. It's so fucked up. It's insane. And like, I rode the AMC.
I called that
$40
company from
shit.
the beginning. From a fundamental perspective,
Me and
you heard
both
me.
did that. Like, yeah, I didn't know who they were until you and Larry hyped them. I was like,
But
yeah,
I'm
let's
saying,
play
no, but
puts our calls on them.
But I got in on the hype. I knew this company was going to the shitter. I mean, it makes no sense.
It's not that it's a bad company.
No, it's a
There's
bad
no fucking
business.
money behind this thing, man. Like, it is valued so high. And for what? They've barely gone into space.
Bro,
Barely.
this company made business plan, made never was good. Never was good.
Yeah. Look at this. So they're not that new. Oh, I mean, their inception date was what is that? April 25th of what year is that? Is that 2019 or 2020? Of 2018. So look, this is what happens. Look, this is what they should have been doing. What is this? You see how violent that is? That's like the AMC short squeeze, bro. It went from like $6 to 42 in so November of 2019. It hits $42 in February, 3 months later. Short squeeze, manipulated shit. Then it comes crashing down. And then Wall Street Bets got their hands back on it, and it did like a fucking double squeeze here. And now it has broken below this serious level where it was at before all this shit. Now it's below that. That's what happens. That's called being very unsustainable. And that's why the market is doing what it's doing now. This should not shock anybody. None of this should shock anybody. This is one of hundreds. And this is actually the smaller side of things. This is the smaller side of things.
Yeah, it is. And that's why we played calls. That's why we played the long side, was because it was.
I wrote it up from like right here too. The crazy thing was I got into it on calls like right here. Like, okay, not right. No, this is when Larry got into it, right? And it came up. I got into it like right here. And I wrote it up to the moon, dude. Like to the moon. I was holding contracts on this bitch. They were worthless. I woke up the next day and it's like 50% up in pre-market on the day of my contract expiring. I was like doing backflips, bro. Like, you know what I mean? I rode that wave back down, by the way. I did. I rode it back down, and guess what happened again? This bitch went back to the moon again. It went back up, and I was holding contracts again. That shows you how degenerate I am at gambling, people. Like, if I didn't learn my lesson on the wave one, like I did it again and I rode that bitch back up.
Yeah.
It's insanity, people. But that right here should really tell you, if this is small peanuts in the tech game that's driving the NASDAQ and the QQQs.
Oh, 7 billion was like 7 billion might as well have been a startup.
The only one that really honestly makes sense, there's three: Microsoft, Apple, Tesla. They can hold their weight. They're trillion-dollar companies. Tesla's insane. I get that. And I don't know, Amazon, I don't know. But regardless, what I'm getting at is they're all overvalued, but they have room to.
I think Apple is fairly valued. I mean, I think it's a little high, but it's fairly valued.
But Tesla's like the only company you can ever justify, in my opinion. It's going to be like that 100x PE ratio that could hold its weight.
Tesla is the Bitcoin of the stock market.
It is.
It's like, yeah, it's to the moon.
And me and you always want to buy puts on it, but I can't pull the trigger on that shit.
People agree that it's cool, but nobody can tell you why what value it should actually be at. Nobody. And
it's hard to tell with Tesla. Here's the crazy thing about Tesla. You know, imagine how many people bought puts on the very run up on Friday, and then guess what happens, people? You buy puts on a Friday on Tesla, and then this Ukraine shit happens, and guess what? Elon decides to give Ukraine the Neuralink thing or the Starlink. Tesla's gonna go to the moon tomorrow. Y'all are gonna get killed. This is why you don't buy options. I don't know. I have no idea. It could go down to fucking 500, or it could go to 1,000 again. It wouldn't shock me. It's Tesla.
Yeah, no, nothing would shock.
It's fucking Tesla. Tesla could literally move 300 points in a day, and it's not going to shock anybody.
Yeah.
But anyways, I think SBC is a good example to show you of like, look at that volatility. Look at the pumps and dumps, man. Like that goes with all these other companies, man. Like it's no wonder the market is it's finally, hey, like this shit's all overvalued. Like, these companies are not worth this much. There's no way these companies are worth these hundreds of billions of market cap. And so if the market makers are starting to realize it, it makes sense to see these sell-offs start to happen. And guess what?
Yeah, which you hadn't mentioned that Kevin had reported that supposedly retail is what pushed the market up on Friday. Not
Oh
the
man, I'm
market
so
makers.
glad you brought that up, dude. Thank you. Go ahead. I'll let you go ahead and speak about it. But when he says Kevin, he's talking about Meet Kevin. He's a YouTube guy. You know, probably a lot of you guys know who he is, but if you don't, look him up. Meet Kevin at Meet Kevin. He is what, 30 years old. He's probably
Almost
worth
won the
$50
governor
million.
of
He
California.
almost won the governor. Took the governor recently, 6 months ago. Not even.
He was
He
actually
was
up
this
for a little
close.
while.
He was this
Yeah.
close, man. He almost put Gavin, whatever, what's his name?
Gavin Newsom.
Newsom out of office. Since 30. His YouTube following and what he's done for people, all he does is go on YouTube and he just tries to financially educate people who don't get this kind of education in school because they don't teach about it.
He's a real
don't want you to know about
common sense dude, man.
He is. He's a good guy. So look up Meet Kevin if you guys don't know who he is. And I watch him every day. Everything he posts, I watch it. He educates me. He's younger than me. He educates me. And he's opened the door. He introduced me to Ross Gerber. I think I thought that guy is insanely intelligent. He might be a little extreme, but he's intelligent. And all we're saying is,
Well, I mean, obviously he's going to be biased. He's freaking Ukraine. You know, I mean, he's going to be
Yeah, I know.
passionate about it. So,
and you know, I mean, I got to respect that too.
yeah, of
Because
course.
if he's got those feelings about Putin, because he's Ukrainian and Jewish, I mean, they've been fucked for years, centuries.
Poutine.
Hundreds. Yeah. So, you know, I saw the rage and I was just like, man, this is fucked up. But at the end of the day, I think that I could go over the market all day and just sit there and chart shit for y'all. But at the same time, I think that painted the picture. SPC, perfect example. Look at that volatility. Yeah. So apply that to everything else that's going on in the market. And that's what you're seeing right now across the board.
Yeah.
Look at blue chips. Fucking buy shit that is going
a
to
company, mind you, SPC, that said a space flight was going to cost like 200. Now what are they at? Like 550 or
like
something?
No, I got the email. Because the only reason I signed up for it is because I made all that money in the summer. And I was so hyped, you know, and like they were just releasing it. So I signed up for it. I didn't pay anything, but I put my name on the list to go to space at Virgin Galactic. Guess what? I just got the email the other day. It's like, if you want to reserve your spot, you have to put 200 grand down now for no
Which used to be the price. The full price.
And then when it's time, it's like 500 all in, 500,000. Yeah. And I was like, delete. Like, I ain't going on this motherfucker. Like, no, like I wasn't going to pay. I can't afford it anyway. But at the end of the day, I signed up for it and everybody got the emails. I got it because I signed up in July for it and I got it. And I was like, it just doubled in price.
Yeah.
They said $200,000 was the cost to go to space and they doubled it, tripled it almost.
Yeah.
2.5.
Double and a quarter. Yeah. I mean, it's just retarded. They'll never go. I mean, I really think that they'll. It's
not a real space flight. They don't even go into space. You're like in the stratosphere.
Well, this is what I was trying to tell my other homie when he was really gung ho on it. I was just like, dude, to make $7 billion, which was the market cap at the time, in $200,000 flights, you know, I broke down
how much was it 4 months?
It was thousands and thousands
before
that.
Though. It was like they went from like under $1 billion or like 2 billion or whatever the price. It took 2 months for them to go from that to that.
And my point to them was, how many people can afford a $200? Now it's a $450,000 flight. How many people can afford to go on a $250,000 flight? How many in the entire world?
Not even if I could afford it, I wouldn't do it.
Yeah. And then of those people who can afford a $250,000 flight that lasts 2 minutes, how many of them want to go? Their life's good. Why are they going to go on a risky flight to space that's not even really to space, first of all? And then secondly, it's not even a private flight. You're flying with 6 other people in a cabin, you know. I mean,
you just send an airplane that is a little higher than it normally.
They'll be lucky if they send 1,000 people to space.
Yeah, because I mean, I wouldn't pay for this. I would wait for Elon to come out with his shit and take a real fucking jet to space.
Yeah.
You know?
And then you got to think too, that's not profit. That's just revenue. Like it's just so mind-boggling the valuations people are putting on shit when they don't even think about what's even possible. Like what's possible.
And it tells you a lot when you see Chamath walk away from it. and all this
Peloton
shit.
got Peloton's
Peloton.
probably the best. $100 billion, I think 70 something billion dollar valuation at one point for a bicycle
For a fucking bicycle.
with an
Literally.
iPad attached to it.
Exactly. I hate that company. I can't stand it. I hate Snapchat. I hate all these fucking companies, bro.
Yeah.
can't stand
I don't, it's like, don't hate the player, hate the game. I hate anybody who was thought that Peloton was a good buy at $100
Yeah,
a
you
share.
bought that shit in fucking 2020.
If you
and
bought
rode
it
that
at
shit up,
70, if you bought it at $70 billion, you need to, before you ever invest again, you need to take a long, hard look at what you actually know about anything about investing and train yourself on some very basic fundamentals of what is EBITDA, what is price to earnings, what is debt, what is ROI, how many of this product does the company need to sell to equal the market cap
and here's the
in
problem,
revenue?
Tuo. The problem
What?
is well, here's the problem with all this. I'm a big advocate of technical analysis, right? I love to chart. And stocks tend to mine these levels. They do. But that's short term. If you're going to go
Short term.
anything long term,
Exactly.
you better fucking
Yeah.
look that shit up. You
Yes,
better be
I agree.
on top of your shit. Because short term, yeah, you can play technical analysis all day. As an option trader, I look at technical analysis. I'm not in it for the long term, man. I'm just trying to ride a wave. That's it. So it applies to me to use it. But if you're going to fucking look at a company and you're not going to apply the fundamentals behind it for anything beyond a week, in my opinion, the way the market is, you're crazy. You're out of your mind.
And here's my thoughts though, is like, I think most technical analysis traders would make so much more money if they factored in their plays. They'll make less plays this way because there's not going to be as many A+, B+ plays. But if you factor in technical with fundamental, right? And so if you have a fundamental idea of what a stock's doing and why, then you can see the catalysts that are coming and actually know, okay, what is this actually going to affect? Okay, maybe it's not priced in. And then if you hit your entry, you enter harder than you would have normally because you've got 2 or 3 different things going your direction. Whereas if it's just the chart, all it takes is one little news story, one little article, one little thing, and you're dead wrong. And your contract goes to zero in the blink of a fucking eye, And I think that's, and I think a lot of fundamental investors, unless you're just going to buy forever, then who really cares about your entry? Unless you're buying at the height of a market.
Right. You buy at the top.
But who cares if you save 2-3% on a long-term investment? Like,
I mean, listen, go
TA
listen to
doesn't.
Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger, whatever. I mean, they don't. 2-3%. They're in it for the long run. They don't play options.
No,
These
they
guys,
don't give a shit.
They are so against this era that's going on right now. And they even, and Charlie
He
Munger
is
even
sitting
said
on
it.
all the cash. He's sitting on so much cash. Do what Buffett does.
It's crazy. And I'll tell you this, and like I have learned so much about the market in the past, I don't know, like 2 years. I mean, I don't know, man, but like I got sucked in. Like as soon as I tasted it, I mean, I went nose dived right into this shit, and I got into the options super heavy. I mean, talk about learning lessons. I mean, I have lost a lot of money and bad mistakes. Like just not thinking twice about some of these decisions, because it's when you play options, you're gambling. You are sports betting. It is legitimately like the most legal and like not looked at version of sports betting. It is so dangerous. I mean, it's insane. But the thing is like actually that's what got me into it. And they're like, I don't care. I could have lost twice of what I've lost. I wouldn't trade it for the world because the education I've got from it, it's insane.
Yeah.
And I'll be in the market for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Now I'm like hooked. I'm hooked, but
Yeah.
but I'm hooked for not the money. I'm infatuated by it. There's something about it just draws me to it. I love drawing lines.
Oh man, you
and
really have been
charting.
on it. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
But I'm like, but
it's-
I have a passion for it. I found something that I really like to do. And I love what I do for a living to an extent. But this shit, like I could do this all day.
yeah.
I could lose money and still do it and enjoy it. It's crazy. That's just
Yeah.
me. I'm nuts. So
Hey, you remember that song Tiger Woods, but I won't
Yeah.
eat no pussy because I don't. I was just thinking,
Who sang
that? That was Big Timers. I was just thinking,
yeah.
if Kathy Woods, then I won't buy no tech
Oh,
stocks. Like it's
Kathy
dope.
Woods. She just got raped really bad. Like
And I
worst
dude,
decision making for someone who handles that much money, I think, in history. One of them.
let's just keep buying at highs and hyping it up and acting like it's just gonna keep on
She's
skyrocketing.
like, I'm just gonna keep scaling. Keep scaling.
I mean, the dumb bitch was talking about Tesla. No, I think Tesla should be worth 2,400. And I'm like, in what planet? I mean, where the fuck are you pulling this number out of? I mean, where are you getting it? Where? Just because you want it to happen? Just because
it's like I have enough money in her mind. She's like, I have enough to drive the market.
yeah, just because it went from 50 to 1,000, now it should go to 24. Okay, based on
Like
what?
those days of
Kathy
Amazon
Woods?
are gone, girl. I'm surprised Amazon's still hanging.
The growth is over for these companies. They're not growth stocks. She's acting like they just have all the runway in the world. The growth stage of most of these companies that people think is hot shit is past.
Yeah,
That's not how you're
is
going to get
over.
rich. You're not going to get rich buying Tesla. I'm sorry to break it to a lot of you guys.
You can get rich if you
No,
do
options
right.
trading.
And-
Options trading.
Yeah, well, option
But-
trading, you can get rich on option trading if you do it.
But you are not
most-
going to get
Most people who
rich.
do it don't know what
No.
the fuck they're doing,
Yeah.
and they just get lucky.
Most
Mm-hmm.
okay. You are not going to get rich buying and holding Tesla. You're
Not
not.
at these levels. No.
And even if it doubles, that's not what's getting you rich. And if you want to make a long-term investment,
Unless you
get
threw
like
a fucking $1 million. No, you would double.
Yeah.
What is
You're
$1
already-
million
yeah.
on top of $1 million at that point, right?
yeah, like
That's
2
not
million.
rich.
Yeah, that didn't make you rich.
You're
No.
not rich.
So all these kids out here who are acting like, oh, you fucking lame investment, you only made 20%. First of all, 20% is very good in a year.
Yes.
You
it is.
idiots don't realize it yet, but
If
you
they're
will.
not making 100%, it's like
They think it's
ugh.
like a boomer investment. But here's the deal. What they don't realize is they're investing in those companies that are not going to grow at that pace just because they have. It's over.
insane.
It's over.
There was a point in time where I was like playing, like, when I first started kind of making some money off options, I was like, it wasn't going to make me at least 100%. It was like, I'll move on to something else. Then I realized that's how you get burned very
Yeah.
easily,
Yeah.
very quickly. You get burned. You buy
Yeah.
weekly options out of the money, you're not usually going to hit it. Typically,
Yeah.
you get lucky. And if you
Yeah.
do get lucky, you'll get really lucky.
Yeah.
You will. But
The richest man in the world, or what? Not the richest
One
man in
of
the world,
them.
but
one of them.
the most well-respected investor, one of the richest men in the world, Warren Buffett, has averaged a whopping around 20% a year for his entire career. That's unheard of. It's insane. Most people,
That outperforms the S&P by what? 3
Double.
times basically,
Yeah, at
or
least
2.5.
yeah, 2.5, because 8 to 10. So yeah, just call it
If
8.
you're beating
20.
the S&P, you're doing something right. If
Yes.
you do it by 2.5 times, you're killing it.
He is the best investor in our lifetime.
He's
And-
like 95.
Yeah, and he has made 20. So if you think now, granted, what's your base? I always got to say, what's your base? Which makes
if you
him
have
an even
$2 or $2 million.
20% ain't
makes
gonna do it.
silly. Yeah.
But that also means that Warren Buffett is even better because his base is huge. And to make
Yeah.
20% on $100 billion like clockwork is almost impossible.
It is.
Almost impossible.
Doesn't happen.
But he does.
It's very rare.
It doesn't
Very rare.
happen. Exactly. And now the man gets paid more off of Coca-Cola
any of these blue
Dividends.
chips, the dividends alone pay for all of it. The original investment, in a sense. But yeah,
Yeah,
you're
no,
right.
truthfully.
I
Truthfully.
love Warren
And you know
Buffett.
what
I
he
respect the
does?
shit out of him and Charlie Munger, man. Like,
And you
fuck.
know what he does all fucking day? And he loves doing this like you like charting. He probably likes it more. He looks over financial statements, spreadsheets
He does.
all
He goes
fucking
and
day.
digs through the white papers and shit. Man.
All
He looks through that
day
balance
long.
sheet.
That's
It's
all he gives a
important.
fuck about is
And
the
that's the
numbers.
thing is, people, you have access to this information.
Yep.
It's a publicly traded company. Look at their books. Look
Yep.
at their books. If you're going to lose,
And it is fun looking at books.
options.
And
then
I
you
actually
don't
like
have
looking
to.
at books because when you see free floating cash and you see a company that's making money and stacking money and then they're taking on good debt, like that gets you excited. And then when you see another company, man, they're out of cash. Now they're taking debt. They're about to take a bath. You know what I
Oh,
mean? And it's
dude.
just like, it's interesting.
Berkshire Hathaway, didn't they just like do a split or something? Like what?
No,
did
they've
they
never
just do?
split
They just did something though. They
to their
did.
stock. Really?
Yeah, it was nuts. Like the
shocking.
other day, I looked them up. Somebody was like, look at Berkshire Hathaway. I looked at them. They were up like 1,000,000%, thousands of percent. And you look at it, there was no volume on it. Here, what's their ticker?
I'm pretty sure they never would, dude.
I'm not saying it was a split. I don't know. I what's their ticker? Berkshire. How do you spell it?
He might have split like the B stock, but not the A.
It was something like that. Okay. So there's BPH. There's Berkshire Hathaway. Well, here, let's look at this real quick because
He has class A, class B.
Something happened. Yeah. Okay. So look at this here. You tell me what the fuck this is because this is crazy looking at me. If you ask me, it trades like the fucking Goji. What is this? Look at this. Like these aren't normal candles. What is happening here? It's at 242,500 a share with no volume. Something happened here. You see that sell off? This is not that long ago. This is, or maybe it was the beat. So, dude, I don't know. I'll have to look into this guy. Sorry. Somebody brought it to my attention though. I was like, something's up with that. Like, that's not normal. Are these all different stocks?
Yes, you want to look at the A, class A stock.
So Berkshire. Oh, here.
But
it
I
is.
still don't know what BRH.
Here's
Yeah,
A.
there's the real deal.
Okay, that looks a little better. It's still not right. I can tell because Weeble's all fucked up. Whenever I see a stock do this kind of shit and like it brings this screen up, it's like it's trading on a weird market or something. But here, check this out. Let me turn these.
Well, I think the reason it looks like that partially is, yeah, there you go.
Something happened. I don't know, man.
But
It looks normal to me. This looks normal.
He doesn't
now.
believe in splits, and he'll never do a split.
There was
Now he might split. He might split the class B or C shares, but he will never split his A stock ever.
He shouldn't. There's no reason for it. Let's look at the beat real quick, just to make sure I haven't gone absolutely crazy at this point.
Now I did read.
No, they all look normal. They all look normal. These are healthy looking charts on a far out. Yeah. So I don't know what's going on. I don't know what I heard. But yeah, anyway, when we were talking about Warren Buffett, I was like, oh, you know what? That's funny. Somebody brought that up to me, and yeah. So I don't know. I need a TIZZ Gang. I'll look into it. I'll look into it a little bit, but don't take my word for anything I just said. There's your NOC, bro.
What?
That's NOC. Didn't you tell me? Northrop? Is that you?
Oh, Northrop Grumman.
That's them on a 4-hour.
That's a good stock.
Yeah, it is. All right, TIZZ Gang, it's getting late. Here, real quick.
Your policy grows.
I fucked that up.
No worries.
I don't even know where we left that off. Sorry, guys. We were just talking about life insurance.
So the way that the cap and floor works is it's like quarterly. So when the market goes up, you'll get the up, but it won't drop below that. So say the market goes up 8 and then it drops, you'll actually get to keep that 8% gain. Like you don't get the down somehow. I'm not exactly sure how it works,
Is it?
but
It
the
doesn't
way that
factor in short-term moves or something like that, or
it's like quarterly or yearly, when it goes up, you get the top.
Okay.
And then it won't drop below that for you somehow. And I was like, how does that work? And he didn't know. He's like, that's on the security side of the life insurance investor
I have
side.
to look into it and see how
Yeah.
that exactly works. I have no idea.
But I was like, that's kind of interesting. So
'Cause
like,
I would play the same rule on the bottom side though. If it bottoms down and it goes up and you don't get to
No,
reap the
you- no.
benefits of it,
no, you just get the ups basically.
how does that work? How do you
I don't know.
just get the upside?
That
Sounds
I have
too
no
good
idea.
to be true. Obviously,
It does. But
I have to
but
look
that's-
into it. I have to look
yeah.
into it. I have no
Let
idea.
me
I
see.
don't
It's
know
like
enough about
cap
it.
and floor. I can't remember if that's what he was talking about. It was like,
Look it up. I'm gonna grab water and then let's look that up and then we'll have to start winding down. Let's get into that. We've been going, bro.
it's like I'll have to look. I'll have to ask Jay what that was, because like in the thing. But I think it's like something about a cap and floor, and basically, as it goes up, you basically get some benefit off of. I'm not exactly sure, to be honest.
Let's just look into it and come back on the next episode. We figured it out.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. I mean, I haven't.
But I thought the same thing. I was like, well, this doesn't make any sense, dude. I was like, how are you only gonna get the up in that fucking, you know?
That's what I was saying. So I was like, so if it goes up, it's like a leveraged ETF. It's like if it goes up that much, to the downside must be just as risky.
No, but that was it. He was like, no, see, when it hits this level, like this up, you'll get paid that on your policy, like on towards your policy, but then it cuts off there. It's like a new floor. And so like
Like
you
when your
only get
call
these-
option or put
so you
option
only
gets in
get
the
these
money.
ups with these plateaus, and then when the next up comes, you get that new plateau. It's like it's a weird, I don't know exactly how it works, but
You've struck my interest to the point where I'll look into it. Cause like, I'm like, what? Like, that sounds too good. It sounds, yeah. I don't know. Life insurance, people. Life insurance. That's what we're talking about.
okay, so here it is. A cap is an upper limit on the index return to the policy owner for a given period. So they will max you out. I can't remember what it was, but it was pretty high. And so the returns are generally a lot higher than the S&P because you got the ups and downs and you're just getting the up and then you plateau. Like if it drops below, there's just no activity basically in your somehow. And then the floor, usually 0, is the lower limit. So you can't lose on the investment side of your life insurance policy. And that's just the money that the company has invested for your return on your life insurance. You know what I mean? So it's not
I'm
like you don't get
following
to fuck with it. Like it's just it just
you can't
automatic.
touch it.
Yeah.
So maybe that's the reason why this works is you can't touch it. It's not like an
Yes.
option. You can just sell it.
But I
Yeah.
still don't understand how that works. I'm like, wouldn't the company just be losing tons of fucking money every
Right. That's
quarter
what I'm
on
saying.
that?
I'm like, this doesn't sound like a scam.
Here it is, index. Okay, beautiful. Investopedia.
Because
Cool.
everything you're saying, like,
Indexed.
this has got red
Indexed.
flags all over it.
So it's indexed universal life insurance, pros and cons.
Index
Let's see here.
universal life insurance. Index universal IUL. Index. I literally type IUL. That's the first thing. Yeah. Index universal life insurance. Pros and cons. Pros: higher return potential, greater flexibility, tax-free capital gains, no social security impact, death benefits. Cons: caps on returns, no guarantees, fees. That's it.
Yeah. So
I
there's
could
no
go into more
guarantees.
depth, but those are like the titles of the.
So yeah, there's no guarantees. So basically, like you said, from 08 to 2000, or from 1999 to 2008, there were no fucking caps basically from when your shit was indexed, right? But if
Yeah.
you bought it at the right time, shit, man. I mean,
You'll be
that shit
fine.
should be going like right now. Say if you bought like right at Corona and got indexed at that time,
Somebody
like
at the
I mean,
bottom.
yeah, like you're just crushing. You know what I mean? There is no way to go back down. So right now, you're not even sweating it. You had such a gainer over the last 2 years. Like
Dude, you could have
wouldn't
bought
even-
anything at the bottom of Corona. I don't think we'll ever see those levels again. I don't
well,
see SPY going that low. That's low. Let's put
I mean, think
That's
about it.
really
It went
low.
from think about it though. It went to 30% of its original, so it could go to 150, 200 at some point.
where did I say it went to? Yeah,
In
SPY
08?
went to 218. Yeah, in 08, that was a long time ago. I mean, that was like they would have to drop a lot.
What'd
Like,
you say? It went from like 218 to like 60.
so in Corona, it went from in February of 2019 or 2020. It went from it's 340 to 218 in a matter of like a month or like a month and a half. And then once it hit 218, it's been going up ever since. There's been no downside. So you got it 218, you were at 480 over
Yeah.
double in less than 2 years. The SPY's never moved like that before. So
But 08 was probably the worst wipeout. Probably, since probably the
08
great.
was Corona was like this. Wait, where's my finger? It was straight down and straight up. It was a huge sell off, but it came right back. Didn't take very long. 08 was like almost 2 years of just extreme bearish, like down, and then it would like level and they would just tank. And it would level and then and it finally hit the bottom. And like 18 months later, 2 years later.
So, dude,
So
check this
got
out.
wiped
Sorry.
out.
Yeah.
No, you're good.
So
You're good.
these policies leverage call options to gain upside exposure to equity indexes without the risk of losses. But how? Like, I mean, I get how they can give that to you, but how are
Call
they not just,
options, there's always
but how are they not,
risk of
but no, but I'm
losses.
saying, but
Where
they're
you're
going to
gonna-
take those losses. So it's on you. You're fine. But how are they not just bleeding out the ass all day on those?
Are
fucking
they
things?
selling calls? Or are they buying them?
They're buying call. Somehow they're
If
leveraging
they're,
calls.
okay, if they're buying calls, their loss is already understood. They can only lose what they pay for.
Yeah, no, but
right?
I'm saying they're telling you you're gonna get when we hit these calls. Now they're gonna cap it, right? So say they make 16% and they cap you at 8, they just kept your 8%, right? But if it goes down 20, you don't see any of that down. So they're just banking on the fact that they're gonna beat your return.
Oh, so that's it. That's it. So they're
But the
basically,
caps are pretty
they're-
high. The
there's
caps
a
were
risk for them, but the
Yeah.
chances of that actually happening are so low.
I guess. I mean,
I
you know,
guess that's the only reason.
mean,
that's the
it
only
don't
thing
seem
that
that
makes sense
low.
of all this.
You know
Well,
what I
if you
mean?
think about it, how often do these policies, these plans go dip? How often does that happen?
Well, that's true. And then they get to bank off of your plan anyways until you get to cash out of it. They're sitting
I
there
mean, it's
investing
like
all that.
selling options. Like you're basically just selling these things, and they typically they don't go down. People.
But
who
you can
buy
see how this
options,
business, you can see how these companies really suffer when the market takes a huge shit for
they
extended
get fucking
periods of time.
stomped on because that's
Yeah.
where their risk is exposed. And when they get fucking hit, they get hit hard because they're taking on significant risk that is so. Usually it's almost like so unlikely to happen. That's why they're doing this. This is starting to make a little bit more sense. There's a huge risk, but the chances of that happening, it takes an economy correction to even see these
Yeah.
levels.
And then they don't have to pay it out until you fucking die or get in a catastrophic fucking event. So,
so it's almost like win-win on their end. I mean,
so there's no call. There's unless a shit ton of people die at the same time, there's no call.
Yeah, you're gonna
on-
have no one running up on the bank asking for the money.
Yeah, investors aren't like, hey, give me my fucking 100K, dude. It's like, no, you're not dead.
So I have to look into this a little bit. It sounds like
Life insurance is pretty cool. The tax
sounds like
benefits,
they took something back in the day, and over time it has turned into this criminal game of fucking crafts with these fucking insurance policies is what they've done. They've manipulated it. Is from everything. I don't know anything about this shit. I'm listening to you.
But
I'm
just
like,
imagine.
Something's outside that.
Just imagine you bought an AIG policy in 1980, okay? And then 2008 comes rolling around, the economy tanks, and the government didn't bail AIG out. Say they were Lehman Brothers and they just went belly up.
Bear Stearns.
How pissed would you be if you were paying into life insurance for 30 years and then the company just goes bankrupt on your ass?
I feel like you had so many opportunities though at that point. Like, because if you bought them when you saved in the 80s, I mean, you went through Black Monday in the late 80s, right? And then you even went through the .com bubble. You stuck through that, which is bad. Enron was also in the middle.
I'm just saying, if these companies
9/11 was in the middle of all that shit.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
So if you survive that, it's like, oh, you're invincible. At that point, I mean, what the fuck else could bring it down? Oh no, wait, just wait till 2008 comes around. You know,
Yeah.
the greed really came out then. I mean, yeah. So
I mean, that's the thing.
Yeah, I'd be pissed, but I should have been like, well, shit, I should have sold 10 years.
But
ago.
you couldn't sell it.
Oh,
It's a
that's right,
life
you
insurance.
forgot. So that's the thing. That's I start to understand this more. You're taking a serious risk. It's most likely not going to happen, but when it does, you get totally fucked. You're locked in.
You're being given guarantees of no risk, but you're stuck so long that
Yeah,
the
you're
world's
locked.
always going to have risk involved. You know what I mean? Like,
If
so
you
they
go back
pitch it
30
to you
years
as
from now, you've seen some
they
significant.
pitch it to you as, oh,
corrections.
this is a 50, 60-year investment, but it's like, well, do I trust this company to still be operating in that time? And now, granted, these companies have done very well for the most part over those times, but they almost went belly up in 08. Would have without government
go
intervention.
belly up. They got lucky.
They went belly up, and then somebody rubbed on their belly and told them that everything's gonna be all right. So it was
the Buddha.
yeah, it was like, but yeah,
Buddha.
so that's the thing I don't like about these things is like, yeah, but you can borrow against it. Like my broker, he borrows against his life insurance all the time.
I mean, that's legit. That's kind of
And here's what's cool. They let you borrow against it at 1% interest. So that's pretty much fucking free, but it's your money. I mean, it is your money.
It is your money. It's not their money. They're not forking it over. It's not theirs. They don't give a fuck.
So it's like, hey, thanks for giving me
It's like a bank. It's a bank. That's a bank.
Thanks for giving me my money at 1%.
It's a bank. That's a bank. That's what.
But it is
do.
cool to be able to just have that money on hand to buy a house, do whatever the fuck you want at 1%. That's pretty good.
How did this system was created off of
whoever created life insurance was a fucking genius. You know what I mean?
Right. And then somebody took that idea and corrupted it.
and then threw it, and then basically it blended insurance and Wall Street. And boom, you know what I mean? And it's like now it's this monster, you know.
See, the thing is about life insurance is you say life insurance and people, the normal person, just associates it with death. It's like a death thing. Like it's going to cover your funeral cost. It's way more than that. It's way more than that.
Way more.
Big business.
Way more.
It's
Yeah,
huge business. Like,
I didn't know Kevin sold life insurance. That's pretty interesting to me.
He always says it because you go to buy life insurance, go to my channel. Like, what the fuck?
I'm gonna look it up. Like, who? I bet he's selling AIG. I bet you he's selling.
He
AIG
has these
insurance.
courses. I almost bought his course. I was gonna literally go through his. It was $700. It's a lifetime course. He's got like really. I was gonna do it. I didn't do it.
Dude, I bet you with
I'm
that
that kind of person. Like,
you,
I'm like, I can learn all this shit off his YouTube. Anyway.
I bet you with that $700 fucking buy-in, you are being put under him on that pyramid.
Probably.
So meet Kevin.
He has a website. I think it's like it might be meetkevin.com. I think. I don't remember, but he sells courses, life insurance. Like
the truth about life insurance, the CEO of Ladder Life is what it's called. Oh, he is the CEO.
Huh? Here, he doesn't work for anybody. Here, I'll put it on the screen because y'all need to check out Kevin. He's a fucking brilliant motherfucker. He is, I swear.
So insurance.
It's like, how did he figure this shit out so fast? You know, it's like what?
Yeah.
But meet Kevin. Yeah, meetkevin.com. That's it. It's meetkevin.com. So,
And see, there's a big difference between term and then whole life. Term means like you could sign up for a policy of a term, right? So you'll have life insurance from 2022 to 2032, 10-year term. And then when it expires, it's done.
I'm gonna join his Discord server.
Whole life
I didn't know he had
seems
one.
whole life seems much better to me, especially when you're young.
I'm gonna be a part of his Discord server, so I'm listening to you. But seaplane one. I hate these fucking things, bro. I'm not a robot. All right. All right. Sorry guys, I just joined Kevin's Discord server. Where are you at? Where are you looking? Where's this insurance shit?
Oh, just on YouTube, it popped up.
Oh, okay. I was on his website,
But yeah, so he's basically he sells term life, which is more profitable, I think, for them because the chances of people dying in that term are very low. Whereas in whole life, I mean, eventually a person's going to die under your policy. You know what I mean?
look at this fool with his family, man. I mean, this guy's so young. It's crazy how much money he's made. I respect the shit out of Meet Kevin. I watch him every day.
He seems like a little. Well, I won't even say. I'll tell you this later.
It's all good. But guys, check him out. I mean, he's got these courses. I mean, just go to his YouTube channel. It's free, and he's super smart. He really is. I mean, I learned shit from him every day, and I'm 5 years older than him, and so I just joined his Discord server. Okay. But regardless, life insurance in 5 minutes without talking to a human. That's what it says right here. If you guys want to get some life insurance, go check out me, Kevin. So yeah, he's not gonna, I guess, tell you too much unless you sign up for it. So yeah, just tread carefully.
Yeah, that dude Kevin, bro, he's just on it, and he just wired, and
he doesn't know how to stop. I see a lot of me and him. He just did it like 7 years earlier.
Well, shit, maybe we need to just start a fucking life insurance company, bro.
I mean, I want to get this YouTube channel popping, man. He makes so much money off his YouTube channel, bro. He doesn't need to work. He can just do his YouTube channel and never have to work again. You know, it's wild. Like he probably makes 50K a month, if not 100K a month on YouTube. Just YouTube. Like that's it.
Damn, bro.
Yeah, it's fucking insane. Dude. People get paid on YouTube, bro. They get paid. Like it doesn't take much to make 10,000 a month.
Bro,
I've
it
watched
says
so many videos.
I don't know how much he makes on YouTube, but it said they think currently no way, because then his net worth.
He's worth like fucking 30 million, 40, 50.
It says 60.
He's up there, dude. He's up there. He just lost 10 million though last week in the market.
But it says and currently makes 6 million per month along with his wife as a partner. Well, if you're making 6 million a month, you can have a lot more than 60 million.
Bro,
so
he just lost 10 million in the market within 2 weeks. Like he got fucking hammered.
But I mean, how much did he make over the last year? You know,
he's pretty open about it. He says he's worth. He even said it. He was like, "Yeah." He had a video. He's like, "I fucking sold. I didn't want to sell, but I'm glad I sold because I lost 10 million and it should have, if I wouldn't have sold, it would have been 30. I was like,
wow,
oh, yikes, bro. Like that's insane. That's a lot. 10 million. Yeah. And if he's worth 50, that's 20%. So
apparently they make 6 million. He made on track to make over 6 million in 2020. And that was 2 years ago, you know, so a year on YouTube.
He
so
definitely rode the COVID wave. The fuck.
So he's at least making probably 500-600K a month on YouTube.
Easily.
Yeah.
He has so many fucking followers, bro. It's gnarly. Like this dude blew up on YouTube, bro. Like,
so this fool was a real estate broker. Now he's selling life insurance. He's in the 2 businesses that have made more millionaires than any other business.
He's in the stock market. He's in life insurance, real estate, and YouTube.
Somebody was saying, which I haven't fact checked, but somebody was saying that insurance actually has made more millionaires than real estate, which kind of blew my mind. But I was like,
I can see that. There's so many people trying to get people. Hey, come work.
Well, and there's so many people like that Indian dude I just met making a fucking million a year. Like now that
Something doesn't add up to me about that. It just seems so scammy, but I don't know, dude.
I agree with you because his suit wasn't that dope. That's what got me. That's why I didn't talk to him anymore. I was just like, man, this
His
suit
suit
is not
wasn't
dope.
there.
If you're making $1 million a year, like you need to dress flyer than I dress.
At least
when I
have
dress.
one good suit, right? Like, you know,
Like it was okay, but it just, I don't know, man.
I mean, I'm not even where.
But here's the
these
cool thing
numbers,
about
and
the
I at least
dudes.
have like one suit that I put a lot of money into, like, and I wear that on like only like my special like meetings I have to go on, you know.
Yeah. So here's the thing. He's kind of there was a few things I did like about the guy. So he was he worked at the labs up in Oak Ridge, okay, which is just north of Knoxville. And he was making, I think he said he was making like he was making a good salary, which they do. He's an engineer. And so he was getting like 150, 200K a year, okay? But he was working he was working 9 to 5. But anyways, his buddy kept telling him to get into life insurance. And he was like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, I'm an engineer, And then sure enough, I can't remember exactly what the catalyst was, but he started doing it as just a little bit of a side hustle. And then he's like, within like a year or two, he was making as much on the side hustle as he was being an engineer. And then he was like, well, fuck this. And he just took the plunge, quit working at Oak Ridge. Mind you, this is like an Indian dude, which they're very like, I'm not trying to be stereotypical, but these are positive. Like they're very astute, very,
Hard to deal with.
Educated, like hardworking, educated, but usually can be very shrewd businessmen, but usually in standard types of business. Like they're not necessarily breaking the mold. It's like hotels.
They're not. Yeah,
like
they're not inventing anything new.
Yeah, but so this dude,
they're taking a franchise, like they're taking a McDonald's franchise and running.
So they went out on a limb, you know what I'm saying? And did you know Indians own, I think it's like 70 or 80% of all hotels in America?
No, I did not know that at all.
Yes.
Whoa. It doesn't shock me.
And it started with just like a couple Patels out in the San Francisco area. Can't remember when it was, but it was not that long ago. It's like 50 in the last like 60 years. A couple of them moved to San Francisco, started owning some hotels, and then they just kept bringing more and more and more here, running hotels. Now they literally own like 70% of all hotels in America. It's just like, damn, it's crazy,
really?
dude.
70?
Yes.
Holy shit, that's a lot, dude. That's like a giant amount. Like I would never have thought that ever.
Yep.
Oh, wow. Okay, we'll have to look into that.
It's crazy.
Ukrainian intel suggests Belarus is prepared to join the invasion as delegations from Ukraine and Russia are set to meet today. Dude, these news outlets will fucking write a fucking title to catch anybody's attention.
Okay, I overhyped it a little bit, but it's still a huge amount. According to the latest figures from the Asian American Hotel Owners Association, slightly more than 50% of all motels in the United States are now owned by people of Indian origin.
Wow.
The New York Times has an article called,
are they just like under the fucking hands of the Hilton family at this point? Like, Jesus Christ, they are the most.
And this was July 4th, 1999. So that's more than that now.
That was 3 years ago.
But this story, bro, New York Times, a Patel motel cartel.
Why do they all rhyme like that?
Because they're trying to be funny, but see, the joke is almost every Indian, the last name is Patel.
I know. I'm aware.
And so yeah.
I've had some clients that I'm not gonna say anything. Yeah, let's just leave it at that.
A Patel motel cartel. That's funny. But
Patel. Yeah, that makes sense. The hotel. Well, that really makes sense because of the hotel situation. But
so actually, it's going to be more than that 50 because, like I said, that was 20 years ago. So,
Just add.
but yeah, basically they own you have a 50% chance. New study.
mean,
Here's a new study
They
from
probably got hit
2020.
during COVID. Shit. They were that fucking invested. Jesus.
Okay, so this story says the results of this is August 10th, 2021. The results of a recently published study concluded that Indian American hoteliers own about 60% of all hotels in America. So that's not just motels, that's all hotels.
Oh, dude. Wow.
Isn't that
no,
crazy?
I didn't
dude?
know any of this. I had no idea. I've worked
Yeah.
with them before, but I did not know anything about this hotel shit. That's crazy.
Yeah, very.
So, yeah. Well, we all just learned something, Tizz Gang.
But
didn't
so
we?
basically, so my point is this guy quit being an engineer, started selling life insurance, grind. I mean, don't get me wrong, he grinds, like he works his ass off, but now he's making $1 million a year, and chilling. Yeah.
I mean, it just goes to show y'all, it's like, just if you see something and it's got potential, you jump on it, you can make money.
But what
mean,
I
you don't have
like
to
about, I like the idea of owning a business that sells, because I'd like to run a company where just like that, where
you didn't have to put all the sweat and tears into getting the name out there, so you could just take it, run with it. That's legit.
well, not even that. Owning a business that is pure sales, just pure sales, right? Seems very interesting to me, because I can find hungry salespeople and incentivize them very well to sell. And it kind of takes a lot of shit off your plate, right? Like the product is another company's product. You're just selling AIG life insurance.
Everything's outsourced in a sense.
Your whole job is just to get more salespeople to sell
you don't
more
have
life
to
insurance.
produce anything. You
It's
don't
beautiful.
have to go to a fucking factory and make a product. You are taking the branded name of something else and
Of somebody
selling
that
it.
spends millions in brand recognition, and you just
I
get
mean,
to
like I said,
piggyback.
it's like owning a fucking McDonald's. Like you buy a McDonald's franchise, you don't have to. You're not killing the cow. You're not baking the bread. It all comes to you. You just have to sell it.
You know what's interesting? Chick-fil-A, a lot of them owners are there.
I know several Chick-fil-A owners. I know
They're
like
there
I know
at
like
Chick-fil-A.
3 of them. I know 3
They
of
work.
them.
They work hours. They
work their
grind
asses
for
off,
their
man.
money.
The
Yeah.
one over here in 59 in Kirby, I know the owner of that one. I know him. I know the family.
Yeah.
The owner is always there. Always there.
And that's
he's
why
he's
a big
a
difference.
white Jewish dude from Bel Air. Okay.
Oh, really?
So, yes. And they make paper money off of this. There's no joke. Like,
Oh,
you
yeah.
got these Jewish people from Bel Air. Like, who the fuck owns a? You don't hear about many of these people owning a McDonald's or something, but they own this Chick-fil-A and it prints. I mean, that's one of the highest grossing in the state of Texas. What I found out not too long ago, because I was like, what the fuck?
You'd still be shocked though. You'd think he's maybe making like $1 million a year off that. He's not. He's probably making.
No, he's not making as
300.
much as they probably make it seem like. But yeah,
He's probably making about $300K a year, $350 off of that.
I don't know how much it is, but I know what you're getting at because I've looked into this. I know that Chick-fil-A, so they're private, they're not publicly traded, right? So
Correct.
they really do call the shots at the end of the day. Like they're super strict about a lot of shit. You can only do this and this, and they have to approve it. And so does McDonald's, but it's publicly traded, so it's different. They literally have their hands like around the throat of these. You have to. There's no way.
Yeah, all you can tell corporate is my pleasure, sir.
Exactly. And that's their MO, with there's white shirts on this, like in Georgia.
So
not
Chick-fil-A
open on
operator,
Sundays.
according to Franchise City, a Chick-fil-A operator today can expect to earn an average of around $200K a year. Now, granted, that's average. So some are going to make a little less, some are going to make more. But I've heard they kind of cap out even the best ones, like you just said that one. He's probably making about
You have to run multiple to hit that million.
So he's probably making about $300K a year, and he's working his ass off.
I think they own 2. Now that I think about it.
Okay.
So
okay.
You have a
Yeah.
good operation at one, you apply it to the other one, you know, Chick-fil-A's not gonna fight you. They're like, yeah, you're doing great.
So he's probably pushing about 600, you know, maybe 550 a year running 2
after
Chick-fil-A's,
taxes
which
and everything, yeah.
yeah.
Jewish
It's
family.
a bitch to
Annabelle,
it's a bitch
fucking-
to buy into, I'm pretty sure too.
Yeah, no, they're hard. I watched a documentary about this, like not that long, it was like 6 months ago, maybe a little bit more, but yeah, it's a tough.
Yeah, they got a crazy
way
approval.
harder to do a Chick-fil-A than it is a McDonald's. Let's put it that way.
But it's way cheaper to do. Like their franchise fees low, but they really fucking screen you big time.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, you're.
And I think personally, Chick-fil-A has kind of sucks, to be honest.
I don't ever go to Chick-fil-A. I used to, and I haven't probably been there in 2 years. I just don't. It's you know, a good chicken sandwich is cool, but like the lines, the hype behind it, it's so overdone, dude. Like I don't care. Like that's the thing. Is like I don't want to go stand in the fucking line. It does move fast though. You surprise. It's kind of surprising. You get in that long ass line, it actually moves. But I don't want to go sit in a fucking line, and I'm not gonna do it. Like it's just me. But
I'd say they're probably like the king of breakfast, kind of like their chicken sandwich, chicken biscuit is probably
It's
the best in
great.
the game.
it hasn't gotten to the point where I'm like, I gotta have it. Like
Yeah,
I gotta
no.
go out of my way to get it. Not gonna. I used to do that. Now I don't even think twice. I don't. No. I wrote that shit off.
Oh damn! I didn't realize how late it was. I got to get up tomorrow. Shit.
I know. I was about to say. I was like, man, we've been running this out. That's what happens when you don't run a podcast for months. But we're sitting on Homer's couch, so we're getting all comfortable over here. TIZZ Gang.
Yeah.
Sorry. We did run this. I'm gonna edit some of this, but yeah, no, I'm glad we did this, bro. This is good. We just kind of ran with it, but really quick before we go, and then we're gonna cut it because it is late. You're an hour ahead of me too. Holy shit.
It's 3:30, dude.
We covered most of everything. The only thing I can say, actually, I have nothing to say. I'm not. Guess what? Fuck Anchor. No more ads on this shit. Like unless I get a real sponsor. So I'm not even cutting the check, Anchor. Like fuck it. Like that was just, like people don't want to hear it. You guys are paying shit. So fuck off. No more ads unless a real sponsor comes across this time. So TIZZ Gang ad free from here on out until we get a real sponsor on board, because I'm not doing that Anchor shit anymore, man. I'm not doing it. Real quick. Now, this is serious. We're redoing all of this shit. Go Instagram. Now I'll put the links, but you can go check me personally out on Instagram at Taylor_Sheps, SCHEPS. You can find TIZZ Talk Podcast at TIZZ Talk Podcast. Go to TikTok, look up my name, Taylor. It's all the same. I made sure to make all this all the same. It's Taylor_Sheps, SCHEPS. That's TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and there's the TIZZ Talk Podcast, which is TIZZ Talk at TIZZ Talk Podcast for Instagram only. And other than that, the only other channel is the TIZZ Talk Podcast on YouTube. Other than that, it's my full name, Taylor_Sheps. If Toowoketogobroke wants to throw his handle out there, he can. Other than that, you can just find me, and you can find Toowoketogobroke eventually. We're
good.
one?
We're good.
No, he doesn't.
What?
I was like, you don't even have one.
I have one from my old, from
It's
Colorado,
all
but it ain't
personal stuff.
it ain't really
yeah.
appropriate. Yeah.
Just follow me, guys. Now you know my real name. Please pass this podcast audio or the YouTube channel to all your homies, and just subscribe, like, smash the notification thing, and just leave a review. It really helps if you like what you hear. And that's all I got. I'm gonna keep my lines. I've retired the stizzes. I will not use that. So
Okay.
it's the same thing, guys. Get your mind correct. Figure it out. When you do, keep it correct. It's the hardest part. And I don't ask why. I ask, why the fuck not? That's all I got tonight. It's so late.
Yeah.
What do you got? What do you got? You got any lines tonight?
I was just gonna say, if anybody out there ever wanted to, be a mercenary or get out there in the shit, man, you can go to Ukraine. They said they'll hand you a rifle and let you have at it. So anybody out there looking for adventure and action in life,
You got to fight the
get a
Ukraine.
flight
They're
to
gonna
you.
let you go right in there, man. Like right away.
Yeah, he said he'll arm you and you're good to go. So,
Straight up. And on that note, I'm going to definitely reach out to my homie who gave me some shit on Instagram and get him on the show and really find out what the deal is, because I think that'll put a real big perspective. Hearing it from that end and everything that we've hearing on the news, and
well, that's my vision for this. I mean, it's your show, but I would like to get guests on that can really enlighten me and you as well. On
not like
topics.
Big Daddy Stacks, Jared, all the time.
No, he's not enlightening, and we need and nothing against him. He's just he's a young guy.
I love Jared. We love Jared. We love Jared, man. He's
I mean, I like bullshit.
At one point, Jared, he was the only one who was going to come on the show. I was like, okay, well, fuck it.
Yeah, and I'm not by no means that I mean that as a diss.
He's not going to take offense to it. We're giving him a shout out. Shout out to Big Daddy Stacks, man. Jared, the homie.
Big Daddy Stacks. So, but yeah, I'd like to get some more guests on here. Get it a little more kind of, not to reinvent, not to do the same thing somebody else is doing, but I like that. I don't even listen to Joe Rogan, but I like the idea that you can have people with different ideas on, let them spew their stuff, whether you agree with it or not. I'd like to, follow that avenue, whether it's, we can call CEOs of businesses. We can just, whatever it is. I'd like to have some folks on here and have
it's a new era, people, with the TIZZ TALK podcast right now. I promise you. I just spent the entire weekend trying to rebrand myself. Okay. And I don't even have a fucking YouTube personality. So I'm like,
and any of you listeners, like, if you do something interesting for a living, or you just know about something for some reason that's not known about, or, just whatever it is, man, like, shoot us an email. We'd love to have you on the show.
It's really easy. It's TIZZ TALK, TIZZ TALK @gmail. I read and do all the emails myself, so I'll see it. So you send anything, I'm going to be the one responding, and we'd love to have anyone on the show. Like, send us whatever. And it's so easy, because Toowoketogobroke is literally 1,000 miles from me right now. So it's that easy. I'll put you right in the middle cushion of this motherfucking couch, man. Shout out to Homer Simpson, bro.
Yes.
All right, man. I think that's we're gonna call it. I don't remember what I said. I was like, that's what we're gonna call this episode. I gotta go back and remember what that.
It was hold on, give me 2 seconds. It was
I know.
It was it's right there, dude. It's right there.
Good thing I recorded everything.
Fuck.
It's all good.
Well. Yeah,
I'll go back and I'll figure it out. I just thought that was a perfect name, so that's what we'll name it. But all right, man. Well, thanks for spending about, what are we at, like 4 hours? I don't even know.
4, maybe 5.
We might be, dude. This might be the longest one ever.
It didn't feel like that long.
I know, man. We were hyped. That's what happened.
I thought it was like 1:30, 2 o'clock.
Yeah. When I went to the restroom, I was like, holy shit, it's like almost 2 a.m.
I got to go to a funeral tomorrow.
Well, who died? Oh, yeah.
My broker's mom. I mean,
No.
Yeah.
Damn.
I'm not going to the whole thing.
Give him my condolences. That's
all right. I will, man. Yeah, for sure. She had a long, good life. I mean, she was like 96 or 8. So,
I mean, not almost a century.
Yeah, I mean, it's always hard losing any parent, I'm sure, but it's
Always.
just a matter of,
We can't live forever, man. I'm gonna be here unless Elon comes out with Neuralink, and I get what.
As much as AIG Life Insurance Division would love for us to live forever.
We were talking about that too. Yeah, that wraps it all into it.
They'll be like, I'm sorry, ma'am, I can't pay you out. Your husband still lives in the metaverse. So how can I pay you this policy?
Yeah, his Facebook profile still exists and it's in the metaverse. So you're sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, that shit better be written in fucking stone cold ink or something, because they could use that shit. Think about that. What they say that in the future. That's fucked up. You just said good point. Good point. Hey, everybody will just watch your back. Lots of scammers out here.
Yeah, man.
Fucking scammers, fuckers.
If a dude tells you he
Anyways,
makes $1 million a year and his suit doesn't look that nice, question that shit. Question that shit.
if it even has a close resemblance to a red flag, I don't care if it's pink. Just ask yourself the question: should
Alright.
you trust this person?
Yeah.
On that note, guys, thank you for tuning in to TIZZ TALK Podcast. 2022, it's our year, baby. And
Peace.
yeah, to get some sleep, man. I'll talk to you tomorrow.
All right, man.
All right, brother. Bye.
See ya.